4 in the morning, you got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom bada boom ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right, baby let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Finding honest and genuine people has become an enigma in this current culture that we live in. And because of that, it's important to invest in people that have your best interests at heart. But listen, on tonight, we're going to talk about the power of purpose and the power behind a concept called the kingdom. A man's purpose is his kingdom, and when a woman comes into his life, it's important that that man set parameters. But on the flip side, a man's kingdom can be more or less taken down if that man lacks the mental discipline and dexterity. Before we start the show, I would like to thank the people that have been so generous to me as I seek to grow this channel. And I'm going to call those people out by name. I want to thank my man Chris Barksdale, J.S. Huggins, P. Arma, Ty Maynard Cutner. I want to thank Mr. Melody. You are always 100% on point. And my brother Gary Lee Land Scott. And then on the flip side from PayPal, I would like to thank Teddy and Anna Dole. Now let's back to the topic. The Fresh&Fit podcast has been a podcast that has been growing over the last couple of months. But here recently, their podcast has taken a drastic shift because of what I call malfeasance that will at some point cause them to have what I call a scheme of affliction. Anytime these brothers see women, now they're going to have this fixation in their mind that she might be trying to get me. And the affliction is going to come due to the subscribers that they lost, due to them more or less pandering or more or less miraging a concept of helping black men in this space that we actually dwell in. I've seen it with my own eyes that unfortunately some of the men in this space really don't have your best interests. They have a hyper-inflated ego because of the progress and the status that they have more or less gotten. But there's a scripture that says in the gospel that first come pride and then comes the fall. And Yahweh has a great way of humbling you if you exalt yourself above those that you should be helping. Listen, men have to invest in other men in order to gain communities. Men should respect other men, even though our ideals and views might not be the same. But on tonight's show, once again, we're going to have some select guests, and we're going to talk about the power of the kingdom. And the kingdom actually is the table. And when a woman comes into a man's life, she should be willing to bring something to the table, which is his kingdom. As based on theology, that's what Queen Eve was made for, to serve him as he served her in expanding his kingdom. Now listen, I want you to sit back and relax and enjoy this show as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State. And I want you guys to remember this: if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 principles that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And female psychology is one, but also male mental health as it relates to the mental and the physical. But when men don't know how to use those 2 elements in conjunction with finance, he becomes a great detriment to himself. Be well, enjoy the show, and let's have a conversation.
All right, today I want to talk about the importance of integrity, okay? I don't think I've maybe made this point enough times. People have asked, is this whole thing that's going on right now, this drama, is it fabricated for views? I want you guys to know I would never fabricate something to boost our views. I would never fake some drama or fake some beef or do anything stupid like that to grow the channel. That's so against my values, I'd never be able to sleep at night. I didn't even know preacher was going to say all that stuff, to be honest with you. I just said, hey, you see what they said? You want to talk about it? He said, yeah. He didn't talk for the whole entire video. He told me, he said, I'm not here to talk. I'm here to tell him I'll come meet you. That's Preach. Preach is a grown-ass man. I'll let him do what he wants. That's his truth. That's his wife. That's his life. So I respect it. We're partners. But he's allowed to move on his own. You understand? Seeing all this unfold, why I think this is snowballing so fast and catching so much wind, is you guys are seeing on firsthand display what happens when you do this whole fake it till you make it stuff. What happens when you are the blind leading the blind. I don't care about making money. Not like that. Not over my integrity. I could have cut a check a long time ago, whether it be with Vice, whether it be Just for Last. A whole bunch of large companies approached us. But the thing that they wanted to do didn't vibe with the integrity that we want to place in front of you guys. I got emails to prove all of it. I'm not here capping for nobody. I come here to say all this because I want you to know at home that as great as money is, as great as this whole high value man making money and getting ladies and all this stuff, understand you got to sleep with yourself at night. So move through life. Move through life with that sense of integrity. That's what matters. That's what matters. Out here talking about, oh, don't sleep with these people and these people. But then you're doing that behind closed scenes. How am I supposed to look at you? People talk about, why don't you go and have a debate with these guys? How can I debate with people who do not even live by the positions that they're trying to advocate to me? That's not a good faith discussion. Why would I go talk to a grifter? Someone who preaches something but does it behind closed doors. It's like going to talk to a pastor who's anti-gay, yet he does things behind closed doors. There's no conversation to be had. That nigga needs to talk to himself, look himself in the mirror and ask, how did I get to this fucked up point? Until he does that, he can't offer me anything of value in terms of a conversation. When I collaborate with people, small channels, larger channels, medium-sized channels, you know what I never say to myself? How much clout is this going to bring me? Who cares? Does this person have integrity? That's the first thing. Are you about what you say? And don't believe me. I said it on their podcast. I've said it on a lot of places. What matters to me is that people come and present themselves in their own authentic character. There's nothing more important than that when it comes to these conversations. Money can't buy you that. All the fake Ferraris, all the renting out shit, nothing will over trump that. So as a young man, if you're watching this, okay, I'm not selling no courses to you. I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm just giving this to you the same way somebody else gave it to me. Shout out to Patrice. You deserve to sleep well at night. Okay, it's not a CPAP. That sounded like a commercial for like sleep apnea. You want to get to the end of your life and look back and say, I try to do right by the people around me. I try to present myself, who I really am, and have the people either accept or reject me. That's it. When I'm on stage doing comedy, I try to do the same. I'm not going to be some random, I'm going to be me. And if they accept me, they don't, that's fine. But at least I came with honesty. I can't undervalue that. And I haven't always been good at it. I can't say I've never fucked it up, but I promise you I try and I've gotten better with time. All right, so I don't present myself as a perfect person. I don't present myself as the nigga that you guys got to look up to and be. I'm a flawed individual. I made too many mistakes to count. But I promise you, I always try to come forth afterwards with integrity. And I would never use this channel to deceive you guys. I appreciate you guys. You've changed my life. You changed my family's life. And I don't take that for granted. So to betray your trust by lying, I would never do that. And if you guys catch me lacking, call me out on it, and I hold myself accountable, okay? There's plenty of videos that we were supposed to put out that I watched while editing them. I'm like, I said that, but I don't believe that. I can't put that out there. That's not me. Thousands of dollars lost. That probably would have made me money. But it's more important for me to look you guys in the eye, see you in the streets, and say, I'm proud of what I said. You feel me? I believe what I said. I think what I said was principled. Maybe we crack some jokes. That's just fluff. But I never lie to you guys, all right? So I just want to talk to you guys about the importance of integrity, and whether it be me or from the people around you, if they begin taking money from people, operate with integrity, especially if you're going to be shaping the minds of young men. Move with integrity. Because that's what we need these young guys to do. We need them to do their work with integrity. We need them to approach dating with integrity, to hold themselves accountable. How can you ask them to hold themselves accountable when you are preaching to them to not do the things that you're doing? You are not even leading by example. I can't rock with that. I can't rock with people who do that. So you see me collab with someone, I promise you it's never because of numbers. It's because I think those people are authentic. And if I fuck it up, I will address it. But I promise you I never move like that. So anyways, I don't want to keep this going for too long. These are just some thoughts I was having late night that was like rushing through my mind. But yeah, it's like I'm not happy about seeing all this nonsense. But you called someone out and you questioned their integrity and they're questioning yours now that you made that offer. So own up to it. None of this talk about making money. Why are you trying to monetize it? This ain't some fucking YouTube boxing bullshit. He's a real man. You question that, right? You question his family, which I can't even understand why you would go there. Own that. See if you stand on your principles.
We say the facts, we give our L's and our W's, right? So real talk, man, we put out invite. If y'all want to talk shit, come back in the studio, we'll talk about it. Or we could box about it too. Cause I'm in the gym now, you feel me? I'm feeling nice right now. I'm wired right now.
That's a box or preach, bro. That's what's a box or preach,
bro. So you know what? Come back to Miami. Let's box it out. Talk it out too. How about that? We're here waiting.
But real talk, man. Like if we're gonna have this discussion, we're harder than you niggas, straight up, and we work harder than you guys. We put out all different types of content. Yep. We ain't just out here reacting. Like, man, look, the fuck out of here, bro.
Stop.
Yo, we're not.
And later on in the video, you're saying that you want to box with me. Sort of happened that I'm going to be in the U.S. next week. You want to fucking do this shit? Let's go. Both of you. I'll be in the U.S. next fucking week.
Hold up.
Let's go. We'll put gloves on. Because not only this, that's why I have a problem. Now you talk shit about my wife.
This nigga preacher's married prior to a fucking beluga whale somewhere. And y'all niggas talking shit.
And you talk shit about my country. Old bitch said that he was about to send me on a boat to my country, to Haiti. Yeah? Cool. Next week, I'll be in the States. I'll drop by your fucking studios. You know where it is? Give me the address. I'll be right there. Don't come unprepared. We'll do it. You want to do this? Let's go. We'll put gloves on. It'll be legal. I know Florida law.
You know, all this stuff going on with Fresh and Fit, all these receipts, all the exposure and all of the questionable business practices, if you will, for lack of a better term. I figured that I would put this out. This happened a few months ago, just so you guys know. I'm not tripping off it, but I talked to my OG, talked to my mentor about it. He said, go ahead and let it drop, you know, because I was just like, yo, I was thinking it was being petty, but hey, why not? Because it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I figured they were cool guys and I'd reach out, which you guys will see here on the screenshots, and came at them, you know, basically with the whole sandwich approach, the compliment sandwich and all that stuff like that. And whoever responds back on their iPhone is like, we charge a lot of money or whatever. We don't let people on our show for free. What's the price tag, right? And they come back and send me, not even professional at all, in my opinion. Hey, this is us on Social Blade or whatever the hell it was, whatever the hell this thing is. This is how much we get paid per video or how much we charge per video. 11 grand. Okay. I mean, that's cool. So I just left it at it. I'm like, okay, you guys just basically dismissive, even though you're responding. It's just basically like dismissive. 11 grand. Go on about your fucking business. You'll never be able to afford this. As if 11 grand, I'm not saying it's worth it or it isn't worth it at the end of the day, because based off of the return on investment for that, but 11 grand, bro, you know, and you just came out like as if you're charging everybody that comes on your show 11 grand. From the bros that's on there to the dudes that's on there, you're charging 11 grand. But that's neither here nor there, man. It's just the arrogance of these guys, and we seeing it come out, and basically you're hot. I get it, you're hot.
Hopefully y'all will stop watching their dang show and unsubscribe, because and share this video because people need to know. And also women who agree to be on this show need to know the truth behind what's going on. And you can't come on. People can't come on the show unless they sleep with him. I can't come on the show unless I sleep with him. He said, I only collaborate with women I'm dating. So is he saying he slept with every woman that's been on the show? Because I kind of doubt that he would actually be able to get all those women. But I'm not gonna. That's just my speculation. So, okay. They put my Instagram on their show so that people could go mess with me, and they told the lies about what they're claiming happened, and that is not the truth. So not only is this guy lying to everyone, but he's claiming to be a male self-improvement expert and the leading show for male self-improvement, but the culture that he is raising is gross and disgusting. These are bullies. I get at least 5 messages a day of people telling me I'm a whore, telling me to go kill myself, people commenting on my pregnancy announcement video, telling me I've been sleeping around, just awful comments. And here's the thing. Nobody knows not a lot of people, only the people close to me know the real situation of what's going on with me and the father of this child.
My image sexually for your own financial gain and not pay me for it. I'm on OnlyFans. Why would I go do some sexual video to put on some dude's Patreon to put money in his pocket? Are these motherfuckers pimps? Are y'all the Miami pimps? Are they the digital Miami pimps? We're talking about Myron telling me that he's an undercover FBI agent, or used to be, for the drug cartel, the Mexican drug cartel, the Colombian drug cartel, how he did terrorist attacks from Pakistan and all kind of shit. So you used to be an ex-FBI agent, but you're sexually harassing.
You guys, Storybox here. This is getting serious. Guys, just listen. Listen, right? Just listen.
Hang out, go for a walk, something like that. And, enjoy the sunrise the next day together on the balcony. So, yeah, I'd be happy to have a night with you alone.
Listen again.
Hang out, go for a walk, something like that. And, enjoy the sunrise the next day together on the balcony. So, yeah, I'd be happy to have a night with you alone.
So now let's get into the video. Yo, hi guys. We're back again with another video.
Man, Todd Maynard Cutler, my man East Spencer, man, something is going on. And there was an old preacher that once said that the kingdom is coming to the dog. Now listen, guys, I'm trying to mute yourself because this show is going to be very important as it relates to young men and young men getting the outcomes that they deserve. There's been a lot going on in this space that we are in as men, and we're seeing that some of these men are not who they say that they are. Many wear a facade of being noble and being virtuous, but in essence, they have ulterior motives. Some of them actually shame men for actually going abroad to seek wives or date. But some of them don't realize, Todd Maynard Cutler, that the table is the kingdom. And if the table is the kingdom, you don't eat or you don't defecate where you eat. So I want you guys to think about this show because the kingdom is the table. And Ty, I want you to talk about why men should have principles as it relates to relationships, as it relates to men, women bringing things to the table. And then Eric, I want you to talk about and give a analysis about what you see from Myron Gaines as he's cast aspersions to men that actually travel abroad.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Ty Cutner. I'm a relationship coach, image coach. I help men improve their lives by improving the way they dress. I also help men get out of toxic relationships, whether it's marriages, cheating, whatever the case. And so I'm not too familiar with the story, but based on what I've seen there, you look like you have individuals who've risen themselves up and then they've taken that rise and use it for negative things. And it's extremely difficult to rise. As a man in this world, you have value, right? And you don't really know what your value is because as a man, you're not designated what you're going to do. Like women have an innate value because they're the ones with the ovaries. They're the ones who give birth, which is the miracle of life. However, us men, we have hands. We can build whatever we want, right? Based on what the needs of our environment is. Now, when you have individuals who are building, the way you build is by giving value to other individuals. And a channel like the show we're doing today, we're helping young men, right? We're helping young men improve themselves. Now, if we don't have the integrity, that's going to come out. The higher we rise, the more people we connect with, that's going to come out. And if you're not giving value to individuals, what's the point? What's the kind of life you're living? What kind of table are you building on? So like these things, the things I just seen there, the exposure, these guys getting exposed for that, I'm happy that's happening. I'm happy that like we have to wash these things. The things have to come out in the wash, right? And public spaces like this, like us being on this channel, things have to come out in the wash. If you have guys like this communicating these things, because I heard some other videos with those two gentlemen, it was about other things. It was about the way they seen race. They had a show with Ronald Tomasi, the author of The Rational Male. Just certain things I've seen on there I just wasn't really feeling. And hopefully we could touch on those things as well.
We'll touch on them. Right.
Yeah, integrity is very important. So I'm happy we're doing this show today.
No doubt. Eric Spencer, I call him the Deacon Eric Spencer from BMO. I want you to give you a synopsis on what's going on in this space of men, because we've had conversations in private, and you and I both understand that some of the men in these spaces have ulterior motives. They don't have an abiding love for the brotherhood, but they do have an abiding love for money. Now, listen, I'm going to be real. Every man in this space want to make some type of profit. There's nothing wrong with that if you do it in good faith. I'm a clinical therapist. I enjoy helping these young men, older men as well, but at the same time, these shows are very time consuming. And then on that note, guys, get the likes up, please. If you like what we're doing, please donate, share, and subscribe to this content. I'm trying to grow this brand. I want to empower as many black men as I can to escape the ravages of this gynocentric system that we're in. And also, if you like what I'm doing, please donate to $ or Cash App 7 Smalls, and also donate or hit the PayPal link at the bottom. Now, Eric, I want you to talk about what you're seeing with Myron Gaines for Fresh and Fit. What's your take on this? Because he denigrated a lot of men that are actually traveling abroad. But based on your brief synopsis, what's your take on this as you begin to see the hypocrisy unfold?
Well, it's interesting because, for a long time, passport bros have come under attack about us traveling overseas and whatnot, accuse us of being tricks and all this other stuff, trying to demean brothers that choosing to explore their options. And now that you come out and you are who you project us to be, like it's like a hypocrite. But let me talk about something else first. That dude, he signed up for a WWA. And that's a well-whooped ass, because he broke the man code, right. First and foremost. You don't ever talk about a man's wife and or their children. And they were very disrespectful about that, because they've gotten very arrogant about the position that they're in. Right. They didn't really deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. And they thought they were these pickup coaches and all this other stuff. Really, they were just court jesters. And I don't have no problem saying it. And I'm in Orlando, so right. I can drive. I could be 3.5 hours away.
Right.
See, that's the problem with a lot of people in this space. They aren't who they say they are. They don't have any integrity. They're not honorable as men. And that's why they don't have any credibility. What Abba and Preach said, I'm not really familiar with them. I've seen them every now and then.
Right.
But they seem to be cool brothers.
Right.
The Fresh and Fit guys, I've glanced at them. I know they're in that PUA pickup type thing. They've had a couple of things go viral. But the problem is you're still not who you say you are. And now you're getting exposed. And not only does it look bad for them, it also looks bad for everybody connected to them, because these are the people, men, that you put in your circle. So what do you look like as a man choosing to be around those men? One thing that a lot of people forget, your reputation is everything.
Right.
And as a man, your word should be your bond. But people have moved away from that. People say one thing and do another.
Yes, sir.
And you see a lot of people in this space that are doing that time and time again. That's why you see so much division within the Black manosphere, because you have people that aren't who they say they are. They say they're here to help men, but they're only here to help you as long as you put money in their hand.
Yes, sir.
So to me, are you about self-improvement, or are you just here offering a product? And like you said earlier, people want to get paid. Nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, be who you say you are.
Yes,
and
sir,
if you no longer identify with what you started off with, then you need to let everybody know, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this so I can get money. Yes, I'm giving you content, but I'm also doing this to get money. And if I got to choose between my integrity and money, I'm going to take the money. That's what you need to say. But they don't want to say that, because then they're going to lose viewership, as what you're seeing with Fresh and Fit. They just got caught up in a indirect way. See, they wrote that check, and old boy, he had no problem cashing it. And then they went out and they tried to clean it up. No, bro, it's too late. You issued a challenge on your platform to this man, and now you're gonna have to cover that. But see, you never thought that he would get on the plane and come down there and put on the gloves to get in the ring. And like I said, a lot of these guys, they are like that. So how can you be a PUA and clown men going overseas when you don't even have any integrity as a man? And to me, it seems like that may be an underlying reason why they feel the way that they do about brothers that travel, because they have no integrity.
Right.
Because they're used to clowning, because they think they've elevated to some position. But yet and still, we come to find out your ass just another trick too. Matter of fact, you a bigger trick.
Big trick, right.
You talking about the sunset and the moonlight and Lottie Dottie and oil of Olay and some other bullshit. Nigga, I thought you was a show enough. You down in Miami, you pimping and doing all this other stuff, and but it come to find out you down there Teddy Pendergrass in it. So you ain't who you say you are either. Now, like I said, I get a little excited because I am in, part of the Passport gang and that stuff, and we take a lot of heat from those guys about we're less than because we choose to travel. But for you to get caught up in this BS and everybody associated with them that's in that circle, bro, it's a bad look. Bad look.
And it is a bad look because, I study some of these guys, I won't call no names, and many of them actually flip-flop or talk from two sides of the mouths. And listen, I'm dedicated to helping men as a clinical therapist. I'm extremely dedicated to see these brothers do well. But you're correct. The main thing that a man brings in this space is his integrity and his word. If you don't have your word, man, you don't have nothing at all. And so, I study people. I listen to what people say and do because I'm very genuine at my core. And as I said earlier, yes, I do want to make a profit. But at the same time, I never seek a profit at the expense of exploiting our men because it doesn't get you anywhere in the end. And, looking at these prices, man, $11,000, man, $1,000 for a consultation. And listen, a person can do what they want to do. They got the right to set their own price. But what's your take on that, Eric? When you look at this group, Fresh and Fit, say $11,000 to come on their show. I'm like, damn, you're not that important. I would never pay anybody $11,000 just to be on that platform. That's foolish.
Let's just break it down to basic economics. The market is going to dictate the price.
Right.
If somebody's willing to pay that and they think that's value, that's fine.
Right.
But if they don't, but if they put that price out there and nobody buys it or nobody wants to purchase the product, then they overvalue what they have. But that still dovetails back around to credibility because you have to stand behind your product.
Right.
So how are you going to be a PUA and you out here doing just the opposite of the content or subject that you're selling?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You have no validity to the things that you're preaching. So basically, it's just a facade, and your live stream is some type of minstrel show. And unfortunately, that's what it's reduced to. They lost 20,000, 30,000 subs.
Right.
They missed out on a golden opportunity. Why? Because they let their ego get in the way, and they never were who they said they were. And now, as soon as something happens, people have been piling on them. Like, I didn't even know about all this other stuff coming out with the girl and all the other stuff. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. And once again, your reputation. Your reputation is everything, protected at all costs. 48 laws of power. And maybe they need to read that instead of be lovey-dovey and stuff online and everything.
You're 100% correct. You know, the essence of a man having standards is having his word. And as I said earlier, that the man's table is the kingdom. But in the presence of having that table, you can lose that table if you more or less commit atrocities where you eat. Todd made a cut. Let's go back to you, because you know this show is more or less taking a dichotomous turn. We're talking about the kingdom as it relates to a man having principles and standards, but also we're talking about why it's important for the women in your life to bring something to the table. Because we live in a time where some, not all, of women that come to a man's life and they want to add only themselves to the table or sex. But why is it so important for a woman to bring something to the kingdom, which is the table? Because the standards for men appear to be dropping, but the standards for a lot of our women tend to be rising. So give the audience some feedback on that.
Yes. So it's very important, like, you know, when it comes to a man building this table, right? We're talking about men building their value, their kingdom, and all of that. Most men, when they're young, and these guys, they seem to be young. Most men, when they're young, they don't even know that they need a table. You know what I mean? A lot of guys, they, you know, getting women is a big thing for them. That's why these PUAs are such a pull for a lot of young men, because they see that getting women and having a vagina in their life and women in life is something to achieve. But they're not realizing that once you're succeeding, once you're on your purpose, once you're a man who is doing something of substance, getting women is a byproduct of that.
Right.
It's so easy to get women once you're doing your thing, because one, and it's not even about the material things. It's not about, you know, you having the car, the money, the house, the clothes, all that stuff. It's about when you're out there succeeding and you built a table, you become more secure in yourself, because you've proven to yourself that you can achieve. You've proven to yourself that you're going to get up early. You're not going to sit around playing video games. You're not going to be out there, you know, drinking all night. You're going to do what you need to do to create the table you need to have. And that makes you secure in yourself. When you're secure in yourself, you don't need pickup lines. You don't need any type of finagling. You can get any woman you want, because it is the man who has the value. It is the man who built the life. What does the woman actually bring? She brings what you tell her to bring. Women don't necessarily have things that, because you may have a woman and she may be a good cook. She may be able to cook a best pork chop, but I don't eat pork. So she created a good, what's that going to do for me? She has to come to me and figure out what I need for my kingdom. And if she don't have what I need, then I find someone else, because all women have the same things. When any of us, when we see women, what are we looking at? The body, the same. They all have the same thing. Breast, ass, you know, they have initially, that's all we see. So what is all about what we strive to them, and that's based on the kingdom that we have and that we built. And this is something that men do as they age. They get more mature, they start building as they age. A lot of men, if they get wealth, and like it seems like these guys, they've risen pretty fast. When you rise fast, you don't even have the integrity. Their integrity ran out somewhere along the lines. Maybe when they had 10,000 subscribers, somewhere along the lines, their integrity ran out, because they started doing things that's their integrity broke under that pressure. And that's what it seemed to happen.
Excellent. Listen, guys, the guys are listening. Get the likes up. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're at 983. We need 17 more subs, and we'll be at 1,000. This has been a momentous occasion for me, and I look forward to delivering more concise content to you, brother. But let's get the likes up. Let's share this. And if you like what I'm doing, please donate to $7 Smalls. Hit the Cash App to the bottom. Eric Spencer, tell the audience in your own words why the table is the kingdom as it relates to men. What is required for you or for a woman if she's going to come into your life, and why is your table the kingdom?
Well, let me dovetail on what Ty was saying. It's like as men get older, there's a lot of things that they already have on the table.
Right.
So they have a better standard, or they start acquiring different or more requirements than they did when they were younger. And really, you start to come into your own and understand what you really need as a man on your purpose, and someone to complement your life. So with that kingdom being said, you start to get a lot more in tune with what you want, what's going to be good, what's not going to be good. And along with that is going to be, what do you bring to the table?
Right.
Because like I said, if all you bring to the table is some peace leave and that's it, that don't do me any good.
Right.
It just isn't. Let's just be factual about it. And the more stuff that I can do, then that means the more stuff you're going to have to be able to do, because I don't need you. For my table, if I already cook, clean, put the table together, put food on the table, buy all the stuff to put the table together, and I can sit down and eat at the same table, then you're going to have a whole lot that you're going to have to bring to that table.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women just don't have that.
Right.
If I buy the food, you're going to have to cook it. Are you going to be there to support the table if one of the table legs start to fall? Are you going to be able to endure the good times that we can sit at the table and the bad times that the table may be bare?
Right.
You know, those are things that as you get older, you see is important. And a lot of women don't see that as valuable. So for my kingdom is you're going to have those things to fit on my table, because I can do all those things. I can do everything I just mentioned and then some. So for you to come and eat at my table, you're going to have to bring a whole lot more. And just quite frankly, it's just not that abundant in the States.
No, I agree with you 100%. Young man, what's your name, brother? What's your name? And what do you add to this whole malaise with Abba and Preach and Fresh and Fit with Myron Gaines? What's your take on this whole thing? And what's your take on the community of black men that more or less use other brothers for profit and exploitation?
How you feeling? I'm sorry, and I don't really have much to add, but I think that it's a very powerful lesson right now, because really the actions that I've seen, and the evidence that I've seen have really left a stain on the space, that the manosphere is, and could potentially, hurt the good that the space is doing for young men. I think it's a very teachable moment that, us young men, I'm 28 at the moment, and, I've actually, my uncle mentioned to me in business, and, one thing he already told me, he said, when you get in this space, you never mix business with pleasure.
Right.
Right. And we see it every day. We see people every day make mistakes. And the reality is, being a young man, when you get introduced to new things, when you introduce the fame, money, it can get to your head easily.
Right.
And I think it's really why it's important for us to really listen to, the grown men who have been through those situations, and really listen to your elders and understand that, it's not worth sacrificing, your livelihood for, the dumbest of things. And then really, like I said, it's really just a teachable moment. I think that, any young man that's listening, like myself, should really just think about, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have any grown men that are there to mentor you in business and mentor you how to conduct yourself, then fine, or continue to tune into the platform. That's about it. I definitely appreciate what y'all are bringing to the platform. The coach clinician. I've been listening to a lot of your podcasts, a lot of your live streams, and I really appreciate what you're bringing to the conversation.
No doubt, brother. And I count on the honor, man. Eric has brought a lot of insight to giving young brothers options as well as Ty. And I do this it's a need, because it's a clinical therapist. We need to talk about the different things a lot of black men are going through, but also to tie it into this space that we're dealing with as it relates to the red pill concept. And so I count on the honor to serve you guys, man, because, as I said earlier, unfortunately, some people have ulterior motives. You're correct, Samya. How do you say your name? Samja? How do you say your name?
Saud.
Saud.
Yes.
So you're correct. There are a lot of people in this space that have ulterior motives, and a lot of times, guys get caught up in the hype. They get caught up with the money, the hoopla, and all of those things. And a lot of times, because of that, because of pride, because first come pride, then the fall, they lose focus on what their purpose is. Ty, I want you to talk about purpose, right? Talk about the importance of purpose and how purpose plays a critical role in building stamina to your table.
Right. So one of the main things, like I said, I help guys who are going through divorces, they've been cheated on, things like that. One of the 100% of the time, a guy has lost his purpose. And when he goes through a situation like that, 100% of the time. because he has made that woman, he has made his family his purpose, right? When it comes to men, we're not born with a purpose, right? What we are born with is our goal is to become more disciplined. Our goal is to become more, to achieve, to focus. That's what masculine energy is all about. Masculine, and the way I explain masculine energy is your ability to tune out the outside world, to be able to focus and be disciplined and drive and determination. That's what the masculine is. That's what residing in your masculine energy is. When you're out here and you're with the world with women, that's a feminine thing to do, right? When you're out here partying, that's a feminine thing to do, right? It's exploring the world around you. That's a feminine thing to do. Focusing on your purpose allows you to identify where you gain real fulfillment as a man, because we all have the same desire, and that is a desire to win. All men want to win. That's how we were bred. That's how we, as kids, we bet with each other, we race each other, we fight with each other. Our goal is to win. And you take that drive and determination to win at succeeding in life and your purpose. Once a man identifies, and the purpose is not your job, a purpose is not necessarily making money, right? It's how you make the money, it's what you're giving back to humanity. And that's something that most men don't really identify until they come of age in their mid-30s, 40s, for some men. So young brother, and you're 28, you're in an exploratory phase of your life now, right? You're identifying what it is that you're good at. You're identifying where you want to go. You may even decide on a career. You may even went to school and took a major and decide, here, this is what I want to do. But once you really find out what your purpose is, that's when you can start bringing other people into your life. That's the only time we should be bringing in like a secure, committed relationship with women, is when you have identified your purpose, because she's to come in and identify what your purpose is. That's the reason why women are impressed and they admire men who are succeeding. And if you think about it, when a man is doing manly things, what's happening? His muscles are flexing, he's sweating, he's doing man stuff. And that's why women are attracted to that. They're attracted to men who hold court. They're attracted to men who can lead other men. They're attracted to men who are secure in themselves. And when you're a man who's secure in yourself, you do not need pickup artist tactics. And I'm telling you this from a guy who, when I was going through issues nearly a decade ago at this point, that's what I found, pickup artists. When I was going through that. When I was going through betrayals, I found the red pill community. When you look at these things from a place of lack, you always see the negative things. And this is where red pill rage come from. This is where hate towards women come from, because men, they start to put women as their item in their eye. That is never the case. That's not how. Right. If all men did that, if every single man was putting women as the prize, we wouldn't have this technology to be able to speak right now.
Right.
Because it takes drive and determination to be able to figure stuff out, to be able to do the stuff that we're doing now, to be able to have the drive that we do to make the money, to build up. You have to tune out everything else. That's why men, in solitude, we find peace. We find peace in solitude. And that's when we be able to build. Any man say, I need peace of mind. Every man, you don't hear women saying that. Women don't say, I need peace of mind. You know what I mean? So we have to identify a purpose. And I'm happy we have this show. I want to thank, Marlon Seven Smalls for just giving us this opportunity to be able to share in this way and have these shows. And I'm happy to have you on, brother, to share how you've been paying attention, because, I've been here from the beginning. And this is a very powerful show. I just love chatting with the brothers and being able to share what we need to share on the show.
No doubt. When you look at things through the lens of the esoteric, right? If you believe in the tenets of theology, if you don't believe in the Bible, that's fine. I'm not here to push religion. But when Adam was focused on his purpose, things were a lot more stable. But when Adam lost focus on his purpose, which was the kingdom, and he was more or less beguiled by the woman, that's when his downfall came. If you look at the whole panoramic view of man and the fall of man, it all happened when Adam lost his purpose. And his purpose was to guide, to lead, protect, and to give his woman guidance. But unfortunately, a lot of times young men, older men, and even me myself, we are more or less sometimes can be guided by our desire for sex and women. And I always tell men that women, the only thing they respect is power and strength. See, when you have your purpose, when she decides to leave you, you won't blow your brains out. When you have your purpose, when you found out she was messing with Raekwon the man because he was blowing the back out, you won't be sad or hurt. When you have your purpose and you're focusing, your purpose is number one, and what she's doing is number 2 or 3, you don't really care about what she do, because you realize once you flow in your purpose, the women gonna come. There's an old saying to say you can chase money, and if you chase the money, the women will come. But unfortunately, a lot of our guys are so preoccupied with the concept of getting women and game and all this foolishness. And some of these PUA coaches actually try to shame brothers in the passport game because they know that PUA is what makes them money. And man, I was flabbergasted. $11,000 for a consultation to come on their show is damn near crazy. Like Eric said, the market will dictate what a person will want to pay. If a person want to pay that, then so be it. But I just find it very ironic, man, that these guys are more or less charging these astronomical fees. To more guys that want to bring in some insight, come on into the panel. Let's have a discussion, and we're going to talk about the kingdom. The table is the kingdom. Eric, what's your take on what Ty said about guys more or less dictating and more or less flowing to their divine calling and purpose?
Oh, I think that's very true because you're focused on your purpose and all the other stuff is noise. But see, I'm going to add to that. If you're focused on your purpose and you're traveling, then you're really going to get a bigger perspective because you're going to see, wow, I should have been doing this a long time ago. See, here in the States, they tell us, oh, you got to do this. You got to do this to get this woman. You got to drive this car. You got to look this way. You got to do all these other things. And guys get distracted because they're trying to be something that society has told women that men need to be in order for you to have a healthy relationship and family. But as we know, that's not the case. And like you said, women are attracted to men that are on their purpose. And when men travel and they see I'm on my purpose and I'm able to enjoy some of the fruits of my labor and see the abundance versus the scarcity here, then it even enhances what their purpose is because they get a new gear. They turn it up because now there's more incentive. Because let's be honest, beauty is a big thing. Femininity is a big thing. You know, that's a lot of what drives men. Yes, it's your purpose, but at the same time, you still need that yang. You need that balance. So for you to have that family, that woman that's there that could be supportive to you, you're on your purpose, but at the same time, you also want somebody there to continue your legacy. And when you travel, you see more of that. You get more excited. I've seen guys that, like Ty say, they've gone through a divorce or they've been child support raped, and they're really down because they think this is the end all be all. Mm-hmm. But they come back from it. They get back on their purpose. They get some new legs on their table, and then they leave the country one time, and it just re-energizes them to where when they come back to the States, they are focused because their main focus is to get back out, to get back where they just came from. Mm-hmm. Now that's real talk.
Mm-hmm. You know, Eric, you look at the growth that you've made, and you look at a lot of the progress that you made. And guys, are the ones that are listening, please join the discussion. We're going to talk about the epic fall of Myron Gaines and Fresh&Fit on the Fresh&Fit podcast. And we're going to also talk about why it's so important for men not to bring women to their table as it relates to work. Remember, this show is dichotomous, meaning we're talking about the table as it relates to his kingdom, but we're also talking about the table as it relates to women, mixing women business in with pleasure. You know, shout out to the lead attorney. He was talking about Robert Kraft, and he was talking about how Robert Kraft mixed business with pleasure. And I know it's tempting. It's very tempting for guys to do that, but it's dangerous when you mix business with pleasure because you lose focus of the mission. So, Ty, I want you to reflect on what Ty's saying. Then, Saul, you can come back in and more or less you want to add to the show. If not, you can get off. But the guys that are listening, please come in, add to the show, and give your feedback on what's going on with Myron Gaines from Fresh&Fit. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so you know, it's one of the most important things, and it's funny that my story, I didn't realize my purpose and where I was feeling until I realized that I was putting a relationship very high, right? And one of the most important things that we have to understand as men, especially young men, you have to understand that men grow with challenge. When you're going through a defeat, when you're on your knees, when you're going through a situation, is how you rise up from that. That is when you're going to gain your most success, right? So a lot of guys who come on the show, I mean, Eric has been on here. We have other guys on the show, and they'll talk about their past, how they went through this, they were in a sexless marriage, they were being cheated on, or whatever the case. That's when we start to realize who we really are, right? And like Eric said, when you start going traveling and you start seeing you get exposed to a whole new world. It's almost like going to a utopia, when you compare it to where you've been, what you've been dealing with. You go to a utopia, like, wow, this is possible. And then you go back and you start seeing more value in what you can do. And you realize just how insignificant a woman can be. She can be very significant, but she can be extremely insignificant, because you realize that once you leave this one, there are millions others.
Yes.
And there's new ones coming on the market every single day.
Yep.
Every single day there are 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. They're coming of age every single day. But you as a man, you have a purpose in life, and that purpose is unique to you. They're like the line that Kanye West said in one of his older songs. There's 1,000 yous, there's only one of me, right? Meaning, in our minds, when we look at women, what do we see? Ultimately, we see this is my opportunity to pass on my legacy through relations with her, intimate romantic relationships with her. You can have intimate relationships with any woman. They all have the same things. Every single one of them you can have intimate relations with, right? But you as a man, you're creating the one thing that you're creating based on your life experiences. And we've all had different life experiences. That's why we're here. We all come together as a place. But we've all had our own experiences, which gave us to this situation, because those life experiences gave us challenges that we had to overcome. When we overcome those challenges, we have a new skill. We have a new superpower. We have the me that you hear today is not the same me of 4 years ago.
Right.
Because I've had new challenges that I've overcame and new ways of doing things. I've looked at some of my older videos and seeing how I've improved in such a big way because of those challenges. So we as men have to see that. However, the women are the same. Like 4 years ago, I was a different man, but the women are exactly, I'm looking at the same things. I'm attracted to them in the same way. The same things they have on them is the same things they're gonna have on them 10 years from now. So we as men have to realize our purpose comes first. Nature did not intend for us to chase women. That's not the way nature intended it to be, right? Nature didn't give us our game plan. They didn't give us our roadmap. Nature gave them their roadmap. It gave them their ovaries, the periods and all that stuff. That's the reason why they have these things all the time. It's not like there's a mating season where women start having periods in the fall and then we go after them in the fall. No, every single month they're reminded of why they're here. Whether they want to believe that or not, whether they want to go against it or not, every single month they're reminded, this is your purpose. You can go against that because of society. Men have made it easier for men to have jobs and all this stuff, but this is your purpose. You cannot go against that. Men, we have our purpose. And when we don't succeed, we feel depressed. We get down. We feel we lose ourselves. And if you're with a woman and she cheats on you, if she leaves you and you feel down and depressed, that is a sign showing you that you've made that woman your purpose. And because you made her your purpose, she ran out on you. She's punishing you, society is punishing you, and you're punishing yourself by feeling those negative feelings.
I want to ask you a question, Eric, and then Saul, I want you can piggyback if you want to. But to the guys that are listening, get the likes up. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're at 983. Listen, guys, we're 17 away from 1,000. Let's get 1,000 tonight. Eric Spencer has been instrumental in this rise, as well as Ty Maynard Cutner. So let's get to 1,000 tonight. But not Ty, but Eric. And then Saul, I want you to piggyback on. I want you to tell the audience, especially the young men, why discipline is so important in getting your goals met, and how the lack of discipline can cause poverty and shame.
Yeah, discipline is definitely important. It really is, especially for young men and during this time, because there's so many more distractions versus when we were coming up. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have the world in the palm of our hand.
Right.
Back in the day, you might have had an Atari or Commodore 64 or whatnot, but you still went outside and played. You interacted with other people. You still had social skills. There's different things that you could do, but you had some of that quiet time to focus on things that you want. But nowadays, everything is so fast moving that a lot of these young kids don't know how to have goals. They don't know how to achieve their goals because they look in their phone, they think one thing, and then next thing you know, they're on to something else. They don't know how to stay in one place to be able to have the discipline. Look, I'm going to have to put this phone down. I'm not going to be able to play PlayStation. I'm not going to be able to hang out and talk to my friends. I'm going to have to study and build myself up and focus on the things that I want. I have to set goals and learn how to reach them. And, that's another reason why it's important to have someone around you that has that ability, whether it's a mentor or a father figure or somebody along that, especially with the young men, because they identify with other men. It's just a simple fact. Young men identify with older men because back in the day, they had all the knowledge. Now these kids, they have knowledge in their hand and they think they know everything. Mm-hmm. But even with that knowledge in your hand, you don't know how to apply it. Mm-hmm. You just think because you saw it on YouTube, I saw it on YouTube, I can do this. But there's certain intricacies that you may or may not know. And it's not going to be an A, B, C, and D. There may be A, A1, A2, A3, and B, C, and D1, D2, D3. So a lot of these young guys, they need to learn or have somebody sit them down and focus, especially with the young girls, because, man, like you said, it's an abundance of them. And these guys get draped off real quick, falling behind these young girls and put themselves in a position where they mess up their life for the next 18 years. I mean, you don't want to get 704 right down there in Charlotte. I mean, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for brother PJ, but bruh, somebody didn't tell him. Somebody didn't tell him and didn't warn him. And look at the consequences it's going to cost him.
Right.
And if you don't think that's going to affect his play this year, you're wrong. Because those opposing players are going to go at him like, oh yeah, man, I had your girl. You put a baby in that, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So, but if somebody had mentored him and told him, stay away from that, that's not what you want, then he would have been better mentally. But now he got to play through that for the next 18 years. Now, had that happened in the 80s or the 90s, it wouldn't have been as bad. But because it got blasted all over the internet, he got to deal with that. And it's just unfortunate, but this is the society we live in, and it also shows the importance of pulling away from social media to be able to have that downtime, that quiet time, and disconnect so that you can gather your thoughts together and focus on some of the stuff that you need to do, goals you want to achieve, even a direction that you want to take your life in, because there's too many distractions out here for these young guys.
Right. We're having guys, whoever listening, please mute your mic. If you got YouTube open, please close it. But we're having a poignant discussion. And Saud, you're a young man. You shared some good insight. I want you to tell some of the young men that are listening, Saud, how the lack of discipline has derailed your life to some degree as it relates to relationship and business. And also, what do you think is going to be the trajectory of Myron Gaines and Fresh&Fit for future endeavors?
Well, I would say that discipline is very important, particularly in this world, because we see where society is going. Particularly, we have the participation trophy issue. We have the issue of pretty much where they're telling people, young folks in society, to be a bum and not aspire to anything. And one thing is that if you're a student of history, we know that most of the time, great works take discipline. It takes years and years of discipline. This is something that young men have to understand. Because if you get distracted, there's plenty of lessons in history when a man is lets his pride get a hold of him. There's biblical stories, there's stories in the Quran, there's stories from the mythical cultures that show how a man's downfall often is his lack of discipline and losing his purpose, as you mentioned before. And the reality is, like, when it comes to business, I'm just being real, being successful in business just rarely comes easy. It's a day, and it's pretty much almost like a marriage in a sense, where you have to put all out effort. You have to study the industry you're in. You have to consider what you're up against, your competition. And if you're disciplined, you'll know that there's no way that you're going to throw it away for a single woman and mix that, mix your mixed pleasure with business in the sense of what we saw today. Personally, I'm gonna be real. I think that their platform is gonna be okay because we have enough people who are misguided and really are just focused on they're not really here to learn. You know, there's more so they're more so here to be entertained.
Right,
And
right.
they're always going to have, you know, so they're always going to have people who are going to buy in and not see the writing on the wall and understand that the reality is that this was pretty much just a scam going on. Because, you know, you're talking about your pickup artist, you know, and you look at the way that you're actually coming at women and mixing, you know, actually saying that you're using your business platform to get women. I mean, what kind of skill is that, you know? But I would definitely say that, you know, to the young men, definitely stay focused. You know, we know we're up against. We know that, and look at the future. Because me, like I said, personally, I'm looking forward to eventually, you know, having a family, having a solid household, you know, having children that are guided properly. And, you know, if I know that, and I know that what's going to take to get that, because I know that, you know, with society, we have the confusion being, you know, encouraged. We have the, you know, I don't want to, you know, get the video flagged, but we all know the confusion that's being marketed towards kids nowadays.
Right.
And I know that if I want to be in control of my children's education, then that's going to take a lot of work and resources.
No doubt. I totally agree. Tom Man and Cutler, then Eric, I want you to bring it in because we're having a great conversation. And once again, to the guys that are listening, my great dear friend, she's always on point, Sister Gail Lockett. She has the link to the show. And I want you guys to come in and talk about what you see about the conversation, why the table is the kingdom, and how sometimes chasing women and not focusing on your purpose can derail you in the long run. Eric Spencer, then Ty, I want you to come back. Why is dating in modern America a waste of time and money? Why is dating in modern America a waste of time and money, based on your estimation?
That's easy. It's poor ROI. Bottom line, it's poor ROI. For the amount of time and effort that you have to invest into actually getting with this person, you get little return. So it's really a bad investment, especially if it derails you from your purpose, because you're putting a whole lot of effort into something, you're going to get a little return. And then once you're in that situation, the return continues to diminish as you put more and more into it, because the goalpost is constantly being moved. You know, all these other catchphrases, happy wife, happy life.
Right.
Then if you're not making her happy, you're putting more and more in and getting less and less out. So to me, as an investor and a consumer, I'm going to look for the best deal. And to me, that's not the best deal, because I'm putting in too much and it's taken away from the things that I need to be doing. I just choose to invest in another market.
Right.
And that market I know has good returns. And there's plenty of good investments. If that market, if that investment isn't that good, trust me, there's another good investment that's going to be around the corner. So here in the States, it's just, you need to be on your purpose. And, you know, everybody hears the phrase, the winter's coming. You know, BGS used it last week. Some folks are already saying winter's here.
Right.
I'm not quite there yet, but with the upcoming evictions and the other stuff that's happening within our country, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how things play out. Because if you're talking about what type of investment I'm going to put in now, is it really worth me investing? Is it better for me just to keep my money and my time and my son or my life in my pocket and just choose to invest someplace else? And I think a lot of guys are going to here lately, or here in the next couple of weeks and months, are going to choose just to opt out because of that, because they see the writing on the wall. We've been down this road before, but this time around, no, sir. It's not worth my time, my dime, or my shine to deal with you. It's just a bad investment all the way around. And especially, what am I getting? Like you say, ran through 3 or 4 baby mama, you know, choosing bad men and having to deal with all the psychological problems that come along with the baggage from the men that you chose. No, I don't want to be around that. No, thank you.
You know, and so, you know, Ty, guys, make sure you mute your mics. It's a lot of noise in the back. I don't know where it's coming from. Thank you. But guys, you know, Eric made some excellent points for what he's talking about. And I always tell guys, especially the younger guys, you know, I've wasted time in my life. I just hit the big 5-0 yesterday. Shout out to Leo Nation. And I think I did pretty good with my time, but I've wasted time too on people that weren't worthy of my time. And you know, I feel bad because you can't never get those hours back, those hours back, and you can't get those years back. And so, you know, Mr. Gigi, you've added a lot of input to the show. And guys, to the ones that are listening, once again, get the likes up. Please donate to the show, $7 small. The link for donations at the bottom of the show. Please donate because these shows are time consuming, but these shows must be discussed. Mr. Gigi, you are a real estate broker, I believe, or a flipper, a house flipper, I think. I don't know. But before you talk about that, why is it so important for men to focus on their purpose and how chasing the wrong things can lose money as it relates to women?
Sure. Can you hear me loud and clear? Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, me, I'm a real estate investor. You know, we actually focus on, you know, buying multifamily houses, single family homes, and commercial buildings with zero money down, no money out of pocket, no cash, no credit, and also producing surplus funds where we actually assist individuals to find billions of dollars that is owned to them that they don't know about. So, but anyway, without further ado, to answer your question, when it boils down to it, the first thing, we have mastermind groups in our investing group, and usually the first question is we ask, what is your why? You know, you probably heard that probably in other masterminds, other groups, but what is your why? Your why typically is basically your purpose. You understand?
Right.
If I'm going to go out here and I'm going to buy this commercial property and I'm going to cash flow it, right? And I know I got a family and I know I want to travel the globe, then my purpose is to make sure that I perform in what the duties that I need to do to make sure that I want to have my why and my purpose, if that makes sense. Okay. But what happens is this, and I had to learn this, you know, after I took the red pill. The moment you put your purpose second or third and you put that woman first in your life, in North America, I can't speak for other countries, but in North America, what happens is something clicks in that woman's mind like, well, he's not focusing on his why. He's not focused on his purpose. He's putting me first. So for some particular reason, I don't know what it is, she starts slowly losing attraction. She just does, okay? And it's like her hypergamistic instincts just kick in. And then the more you put her first, it's like her hypergamistic nature comes into overdrive, man. And I was laughing in the chats when you were talking about, you know, and you picked the perfect names, the Raekwons and the Man-Mans. Yeah, it's true. It is the God honest truth. It is. And to put it even more in perspective, I was listening to Charles Tyler's old show, and it was an older radio show, and man, that thing lasted like 3 hours. And he had like guys calling in and women calling in, but there was one woman that was on there, and she actually was glorifying the hypergamistic nature that, well, if we leave the good man for the thugs, then the man need to step up and be a man. So you're saying that I have to have a criminal record, I have to not flip houses, I have to go out there and sell dope and have about 5, 10 or more different kids' moms to actually be proved a man and also get in and out of jail? This is the type of society that we are living with. So at the end of the day, if you keep your purpose of what you want to do in life first, you should be in your mind 24/7, 7 days a week, caring less if that woman stay in your life or not.
Right.
Because your purpose in life is your main priority. If that woman leaves, she leaves. But at the end of the day, though, right, you focus on your purpose, your passion. What is your why? What is your purpose in life that you want to succeed in? I hear a lot of brothers say that they're investing in crypto, they're investing in stock. Those two are not my things. You know, real estate is my thing, and also showing people how to make with no money down is my thing. That is my purpose. My daughter is 12 years old. I'm a single father. She is my purpose in life. My goal is to make sure that I have an income coming in so we can be put in a position to travel, and then also to invest and roll our money into other type of projects out there, so then therefore we can actually produce the free time that we actually want. If I keep that woman in my life and put her first, right, I can't provide for my kid. I can't provide though for my business, right? I can't spend time with guys like you. I cannot do that, you know, and that's what I had to learn the hard way. Listen, you guys, it's true. You know, Mr. Collision is right. Time is your most valuable asset. You can never get that stuff back. You can't. And I read Robert Kiyosaki's audiobook, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he talks about time. Time is your most valuable asset. It is a short time on this planet, very short time on this planet. And you have to use that time wisely with the people you decide to bring in your life versus the people you choose to cut out in your life. Right. Cut out what is necessary and invite what is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, let's bring the conversation around not only time, and then Ty, I want you to piggyback on it, but let's talk about this whole fiasco with Myron Gaines, Fresh&Fit. Because, you know, I said in the show earlier, and I said it with satire, that, you know, Myron is going to have a scheme of affliction. Because every time
he going to have. Well, with dance, that's what he going to have.
Myron didn't believe, like Brother Dictionary Spencer said, that the fat meat was greasy. But I want you to talk about this whole fiasco with Fresh&Fit and these what I call astronomical you know, charges that they're charging men to come onto their platform. What's your take on this the whole downfall, and that not, you know, or the whole tailspin? Now it's alleged, and I say alleged, that he got a woman pregnant. Myron does, and she's coming after him. But what's your take on this whole thing, brother?
Gotcha. Yeah. So we was on a Master Teacher's channel talking about this, man. He made a whole video about this, him, and that stuff went viral, super viral. Okay. And we started talking about the passport brothers, both the newbies, the guys who just got their passports, and the guys who are experienced, the guys who are actually bringing back receipts, proof, boots on the ground, live videos, right? And the thing was, one thing he was saying, he was talking to Coach Brett Adams, right? And telling them, hey, those your boys, they're actually pickup artists and dating coaches. You need to hold them accountable. Go check them. Go check them. You guys been coming after the passport brothers for the longest, the traveling brothers for the longest, the red pill community. Go check them. Because right now, I'm going to be real. You charging that type of money to go ahead and have a man just simply text message some words, right, in Instagram, knowing that this woman is in a country where she is spoiled with choice. Hundreds of guys are hitting these women up every day. There's guys that have been in relationships for 20 plus years. Men are still hitting them up, and women are leaving these guys instantly for a guy she just meets in one day. Let me tell you, money that they're trying to use and promote to have a man talk to another North American woman is ridiculous. It is horrible. Okay. They had on their site, they were charging as high as $800 for these courses. Like, it's insane. $800. A couple of brothers in the chat, man, was talking about $800, man. You can go to Medellin twice, Medellin, Colombia twice with that type of money. Plus also pay for a hotel. Plus on top of that, right, you can get a woman for way cheaper by just simply spending time with her and bringing your personality and not leading with your wallet.
Right, right.
The economics is what makes sense in this situation, but evidently they're not a good component of understanding what supply, demand, and economics is. And it's like you guys said before, the market only decides what the price is, not the person.
Thanks.
And you know, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, man. You know, you're correct. You know, there was a time where men actually set the template to what they wanted in relationships. You know, women knew that because the woman was the seller and the seller and the man was the buyer. And she had to present herself in a way that can get her the man that she wanted. But now you got women in this society. I've never in my life, you know, I'm Gen X, you know, class of 90. And Eric, you remember when we was in high school, 252704, if certain things that a woman would do wouldn't get her the man that she wanted. If she had a lot too much fun, 4 or 5 kids out of wedlock or whatever, we didn't even look at her because she was seen as a pariah. But now you got women that are less than average, less than anything, and they expect the top 5, 10% men. And I think the reason why men are more or less accepting this nonsense because they don't have the admonition and guidance of masculine, strong fathers. Not any father, because you got men in their household that are actually weak, but they don't have the admonition of strong, masculine fathers to set standards. Eric, in your own words, and then Ty, I want you to piggyback on what Mr. Gigi is saying. Why is this phenomenon becoming so prevalent in this modern culture, in your opinion?
Well, like you said, it's easy because there aren't men to guide young men. There's just a big gap, and I always like to explain it is we have a crop of men that was a bad crop. And we don't have any way to fix that. Why? Because we don't have any influence over those men because they have been raised by women and they have a lot of feminine traits. You can't tell them anything. They think they know it all, and they're very argumentative and emotional. So even though you're dealing with young men, you're still, in essence, from an energetic perspective, you're still dealing with women. So you can't do anything with them. And that's real talk. And that's a big problem here in the States. Because if you can't do anything with these men, then, and these are the men that you're investing in or trying to get right, it's a waste of time. It really is. It's just a waste of time. Your best bet is either for men, black men, that understand this dynamic and just have to walk away and start a new community with like-minded brothers that understand that you need a village of men that understand what it takes to be in that community and alienate the ones that aren't worth the time or the resources to invest in. Everybody's not going to make it. And black men are going to have to start really sitting down and looking at who they're dealing with, because I honestly didn't think it was this bad, because I don't have children myself. And it's a rarity that I really interact with younger guys outside of, talking to the gym and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But, these guys nowadays, I see them, they got pink hair. I'm like, half the hair is pink and whatnot. Sometimes you look at them, I'm like, dude, you look like a woman. I'm like, you playing basketball, you run up and down the court and you got your hair frosted pink. Bro, come on now, man. To me, I don't know if you would, which way you going, if you binary or non-binary. So, but they're lost and they need somebody to guide them. And unfortunately, a lot of men can't guide them because they're getting blocked by the gunocracy and the mothers in their household.
Time in Cutler, I call some of these PUAs prophets of gain that actually call pain. What's wrong with the modern PUA, Tom Maynard Cutler, as it relates to modern dating and relationships? And what do you think that some of these teachings are actually doing to these men mentally when they divest all of this money that's, in my mind, really a toxic product? Because I found out, Todd, that you can have all the money that you want, but money doesn't always get you the outcomes that you desire. Well, what's your take on the Todd, real quick? What's your take on the modern day PUA coach and their expose, or what I call exploitation of modern men?
So when you think about it, when you think about the PUA culture and what they're doing and what their take and how they get women, right? They're using tactics and pickup lines and all these things. What kind of women are they going to get, right? And what are they telling the man to do? They're telling the man to perform to get a woman, to tap dance to get a woman. The PUAs put the women at the top.
Right.
They make the women the prize. They make sex so important to a man. Simply coming to a man and telling a man, if you're securing yourself, getting women is no problem, right? I had a conversation with a gentleman just yesterday, and he maybe he's 6 of those lines, and he told a story about how he's a very tall brother. He told a story about how he was hanging out with these professional athletes. He was at a party, and one of the ladies thought he was one of the athletes. And once she realized that he wasn't an athlete, she left him. Right? She wanted to date another dude, and then he was blaming the woman. Right? He's like, she wanted to go after, she's hypergamy and all that stuff. And I was like, bro, listen, if you're a man who's secure in yourself, it don't matter what the woman does. I'm not saying you being secure is going to change her behavior, right? Because there are women who are going to do that. But you being secure in yourself, you don't care about what she's doing. You don't care if she leaves. You don't care that's like, you wouldn't even remember this story to tell it to me today. You know what I mean? If you're a secure man, and that's what I teach men. That's what I teach men. And when they come into it, they go through this situation, you become a secure, because that's what I realized in myself. I wasn't secure. I wasn't doing what I need to do. And like to Eric's point, there are a lot of young men. When I see young men who are out here with the pink hair, I've seen young men with their nails painted. I see young men, they're just doing too much. That is a clear sign that there's no man in the house. Even the women too. The women who are out here with their butts out and all this stuff, young women, that's a clear sign there's no man in the house. There's no man in their life. Me personally, I'm currently working on a program for young men who are in college. Right, I'm an image coach, and I've had parents come to me, women, single mothers, or they may be separated from the husband, and they come to me and they say, hey, listen, my son is going to college, and he needs to pull up his pants. He needs to present himself well. He got a full scholarship. He's in Howard. He got a full scholarship. He needs to improve himself. So I'm working on a program to mentor these young men, right? Because women are important to men. Their style is important. Their individuality is important. But they need to understand the principles of what it means to be a man. It's like if they're not taught these principles, if they're not taught like Eric was saying, like they need to know A, B, and C, A1, A2, A, F, G, and all the intricacies. It's like trying to build a car and you don't know how an engine works, but the outside. I want it to be this color. I want it to look like a Tesla. I want it to look like a Ferrari or whatever the case. But you don't know how the engine works. You don't know how the wiring works. You don't know the inner workings of what it means to be a man. And that's the only a man can give another man that. And only a man understand these things once he went through challenges. Men have to go through challenges. So young men, they're not gonna know. We shouldn't expect them to know, especially if we have a whole community of men where there are less men in our community, where they're mostly single women and mostly women are raising these kids. We should expect these things to happen. We should expect, and because the men are this way, the women of that same group they're going to turn a certain way themselves. And when we have a situation, we have social media where women are believing that because she's getting it, that I can get it. Because she's not working on her body, I don't have to work on my body. Because she's getting implants and butt lifts, I can get butt implants. And like the world has become a lot smaller when it comes to this communication. But at the end of the day, we have not changed as individuals. That's the reason why Black men are starting to feel that pressure, especially as we age, as we get older, right? I just turned 40 last month. As we get older, we start to see things from a different perspective. We start looking at older shows that I used to watch when I was a kid and seeing it from a different perspective. Watching the Cosby Show again and seeing it from a different perspective. Now I'm a man and I've been through some stuff, and that's what we have to. That's why shows like this are important, because we need to give back to these young men. They want it. Even the kid with the pink hair, he wants it. He didn't have it. No, so what does he have? He has all these other things, and that's cool in his world. That's cool to be my own self. He gets around a real man, he'll take that stuff off himself. He may even cry because he didn't have a real man. He got some stuff going on with him. You know that as a clinician, you sat with young men. They're yearning for that, and they can only get that from men, from masculine men. And because the Black community is a lack in that, there are many positions. There's very few men out here to teach men, right? And even when we have some men, these men aren't doing their thing because they haven't come to that realization that women aren't first. My mission is first. My purpose is first. And when you go after your purpose, the reason why your purpose is so important is because in order for you to achieve your purpose, you have to gain other skills. Discipline, focus, drive, determination, right? You have to put that phone down. You got to put the video games down. You got to be able to do these things. And that's the reason why your purpose
your purpose is so important because it tests you. It puts you to the test. Getting women is easy. Like you learn how to do that. That's so once you got it, you got it. It's like you don't have once you got it, they're not changing. They're not changing on what they want. They've been wanting the same thing since we were cavemen. They want to be they want to be around a man who's secure and who can protect and provide. Protecting and providing may have changed, but in order for you to have a cave and be able to keep away the barbarians, it requires the same thing as it does today. To be able to put food on the table, it requires the same thing. It is the man who is the one who improves. Getting women stays the same. Once you gain that skill, now what? Now what do you do? So that's why purpose must come first. And that's why I'm happy we have a show like this. I'm happy for all the brothers who understand this. And because when you start to, for the guys who, when you think about a miracle, when you think about God gave a miracle has occurred. What actually happened? Somebody created something. Somebody did something, right? When you're in your divine, when you're doing your divine work, it's because you've aligned, you went through the challenges, you identify that this is easy now. For me to be an image coach, for me to help men with relationships, is easy to me. That's simple for me to do. I can do that all day long. It's no grind. I don't sweat doing that. That is my purpose. I'm in my purpose and I can only get better. Brother Smalls, you doing your show, you can only get better at this. Right? Brother Eric with BMO, he can only get better at that because that's his purpose. Right. You getting women, they come when you in your purpose. That's easy.
Right.
That's something that we need to understand, that brothers need to understand as you listen to these shows. Focus on your purpose.
And if you focus on your purpose, the market would dictate the outcome, because right now, guys, a lot of young men are not getting a good return on their investment. You're not getting top tier women. You know, I'm a married man, but, I've said before in the past, I got a good wife, but in general, if I was a single man again, I wouldn't even look at American women. They wouldn't even be a consideration for me because they don't offer really any value. The majority, not all. There are a few decent ones like my good friend Gail, my Scorpio queen, but in general, they really don't offer anything of substance to a man that can help that man become the best version of himself. I want you to tell the guys, Eric, about times in your life, man, where you made mistakes. And I think you said in several shows with dating these current women. And would you pay a PUA or a relationship coach for advice on a woman?
Look. So, like I told you before, for me, I'm different than most of the people that I grew up with, as far as the melanated people, because my parents were together for 51 years. That was something that's unheard of. Even when I tell my friends my parents were together for that long, they get their eyes pop out because in their mind they can't fathom that. And when I tell them I'm from that background, I grew up in a 2-parent home.
Right. Same here.
Yeah, right. It's still they just can't grasp that concept, And for me, coming from that background, I made a lot of mistakes because a lot of the women that I dealt with didn't come from that background. They came from single parent homes, or they came in with the single parent and or the stepdaddy. That dynamic where the woman was still the man in the relationship. Mm-hmm. So maybe they had a stepfather, but he was a beta or very submissive. So they still didn't come in from a masculine relationship and knowing how to go into that. And they never were taught to how to be wives because of all the feminism and the you go girl and you don't need a man and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So I repeatedly made mistakes because I was socialized to think and accept and put women in these different positions and pedestals and whatnot. And it just backfired. Mm-hmm. It just backfired, and it's trial and error things that we go through in life. But the bottom line is, as you get older, you realize a lot of mistakes that you make and you try to help some of these young guys not make the same mistakes. But moving forward, I know now that I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to go through all the trial and tribulations that I went through, because for me, I know me being on my purpose is what's going to help me. and dating in the States is just not a thing. It's not worth my time, my dime, and my shine to deal with that, because there's so many things that are toxic about it. You know, we talk about a lot of the consequences and stuff, but nobody really wants to talk about the esoteric part of it. You know, you're around a person that has bad energy, that can affect you, can affect your moods.
Right.
You know, there's this thing that talks about, look at the 5 people that you're around, and you're within 15 to 20% of their income. So you need to change the people that you want to be around to elevate income. The same thing with the quality of women that you deal with. If you're constantly dealing with these type of hood rat mentality, not just what they look like, but what they think like, and you're exposing yourself to that toxicity time and time again, that has a detrimental effect on your psyche as well. And you don't understand that you're being exposed to it. That's why, you know, just to be honest, I limit myself with that, because it's very it's easier to stay focused on things that you need to stay focused on when you don't dilly dabble. Sometimes it's better for you to have those quiet times so that you can reflect. You know, nothing's 100%, but you need to have time where you can go and build up your moat, build up your castle, so that when you do come in contract with people like that, that you're able to fortify that and move forward. And I really think that's important, because it is infectious. Everything is connected. We are all connected. You and I can be in the same presence, and we can have a mastermind. Two come as one, and everybody's there. We're sharing the same thoughts. We're doing the same thing. So you have to look at it from that perspective as well when you're dealing with these matrix women.
Right. No, I totally agree. Once again, guys, you know, the show's a little slow tonight, but we still got the show popping. But please donate to the channel, donate to PayPal, or donate to Cash App. The link is in the bottom. And once again, guys, we're having a poignant discussion. If you can't donate to the channel, please share this content. We're 17 away from 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, help me celebrate as we move this channel to the next level. Because once again, I have an abiding love and abiding respect for a lot of these young men. These shows are far and few in between. And as Eric and Ty said earlier, Mr. Gigi, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have your best interests at heart. You know, we talk about the table once again, that the table is a man's kingdom. And what she brings to that table will actually amplify the kingdom of that man. Tom Maynard Cutler, if you got married, what must a woman have, the tangibles and the intangibles, to add to that table that can amplify your kingdom? And then Eric, I want you to piggyback off of it, and Mr. Gigi.
Right. So this is for any man, right? For any man. One thing I explain to men, especially when they're courting, right? So we have a program, company I work for, we have a program, we teach men how to date. But that's out of 6 modules in a program, that's the 5th one, how to date. So before a man even does that, he got to secure himself. He has to have his friends, his hobbies. He has to know what his mission is all about. When it comes to identifying your perfect partner, you have to understand one thing, that nature did not intend for women to stress you out. They did not intend for women to bring you down, to belittle you, to disrespect you. Because if they're doing that, how can you focus on your purpose? How can you succeed? How can you do the things, the greatness that you're designed to do? You couldn't, right? So as a man, the way it's supposed to work is you as the man, you focus on your purpose, because no matter how hard you try, you can't get pregnant. You don't have periods. You don't have mood swings. You have a more stable mind. That's why the man is the one that leads. That's the reason why she supports the man, because she can have, from when they having sex, she can happen to get pregnant. She's gonna have some downtime. She's gonna have a mood swing. She's gonna have a period. She's gonna have to take care of that child. So you focus on your purpose. Now, for me, what kind of woman do I want to have in my life? That woman has to be making me better. She has to feed into me. The woman that's in my life has to admire who I am, admire what I do. She has to look at me and be impressed and to be admired. And every time she sees what I do, she speaks about it. She talks about it. She mentions how good that was and how it could be better, right? She feeds into me. She's there when if she knows my
cup of water is low, she goes in, she get that cup of water because she going on. I'm going to ask. She makes it her purpose to identify what it is I need. Because if I'm succeeding, if I'm great, if I can afford a nice house and I can afford nice vacations, who's going to be on those vacations with me? Who's going to be in that house with me? She is. And she knows that, because that's what men are. We have no problem taking care of women. We feel like it's our obligation to do so. That's the reason why men, we focus on our purpose, because we know it's not just about us. From as a kid, we know it's just not just about us. We know we got to make more than just sustain ourselves. Women don't see it like that. Women take care of themselves. They take care of themselves, and they take care of their kids. They don't have a man around. But they're not trying to do more. They're not trying to gain more. That's not in their working. That's not in their wiring. So a woman that's in your life, you have a woman, she has to be there giving into you. And here's the thing, gentlemen. A lot of guys get into relationships and the women start off that way. She starts off giving it to them. You have to understand that women adapt to the man. She could have not liked sports when she met you, but if you like sports, she's going to start liking sports. When you have sex with women, do they teach you anything new in the bedroom? No. She moves wherever you tell her to move her body. Women are always following your lead, whether you realize it or not. That is their role. That's how they are. That's how they socialize. They're pleasers. They're adapters. They're not trying to have confrontation. They're always going to adapt to you. That's the reason why you have to be a secure man. The second she stops doing that, the second she starts flipping and flopping, the second she starts making it about herself, you got to get rid of her. You got to start making that game plan to get rid of her, because otherwise you have to think of yourself as you're rising. The second she starts pulling you down, you got to let her go so you can continue to rise, because your life is about something. Your life is more important. You didn't go through all those challenges, go to school, go through all the stuff you went through to cater to somebody else that's not helping you rise. That it doesn't matter if you have kids with her. I don't care if you got a house with her. Start putting a plan together to get rid of her. Start putting a plan together to get her out of your life, because your mission is always first. Always. You do not want to end up 60, 70 years old feeling like you didn't achieve your goals, because that's when despair comes in. And there's nothing you can do to turn it around. That's why you have angry old people. They lie. They feel like their lives were a waste. Right? When you on your purpose, you can do your purpose forever as a man. You can do it forever. You feel great when you're doing it as a man, when you're on your purpose. Do not allow women to bring you down. And the thing that brother Eric is saying, when you're looking at the way things are in our society here in America, there is a culture, right? There is a culture that has compromised our women. It's compromised our women. It's compromised their minds. And because they don't have enough strong men to rebalance that, there are a lot of compromised women out here. You know, I only date younger women. And when I speak to them, a lot of stuff I'm saying is foreign to them because they haven't heard it. If you can't find you a woman that understands your program, do not get into a committed relationship with that woman, because she will bring you down. And now you're stuck with her. You have a kid with her, you get married with her, it's going to be very difficult for you to detach from that. If she's not on your program, if she's not helping you succeed, you got to detach, because she wants to connect. That's what women want. Women want connection. They want to have that kid. They want to have that marriage. That's not what your goal is. Your goal is your purpose. It is your purpose that allows you to take care of those dreams that she wants, which is the kid in the marriage. But your purpose has to come first at all times.
No, I totally agree with that, man. You know, and if she's not following your purpose, then I totally agree, because it goes back to what me and Eric talked about with BGS last week, and I believe it perfectly. The woman should reflect your glory. When a woman is actually glowing, that means she's reflecting you. You see, gentlemen, you're the moon, you're the sun, she's the moon. She should have a glow if she's reflecting your purpose in your kingdom. But the grounds in America are actually barren. And, you know, I'm so grateful for groups like BMO, Black Man Travels Group with Aaron Ferris. I'm so grateful for those groups, because those groups give men options outside the confines of the United States. And also for one master teacher, that brother is into traveling as well. But, you know, we live in a time where men need to know what their worth is. And, you know, Eric, you're correct. Eric Erickson called it ego integrity versus despair. And so ego integrity says, similar to what the Apostle Paul said, I've kept the faith, now which is laid upon me is the crown of life. But despair says, when you're laying on that deathbed and you're about to take that last breath before you cross over to the glory world to see God or to go wherever into the afterlife, you start cussing and you start getting angry because you said D-A-M, I threw away my life. And I didn't live my life on purpose and conviction. And because of that, you go to the grave site and you hear the echoes from the grave of men that went to the grave with dreams deferred. And that's why I decided to do this show. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to the grave with dreams deferred. Eric Spencer, what should a woman bring to the table, which is your kingdom, that's going to help you amplify your life? And if she chooses not to bring it to the table, as Ty said, what's the penalty going to be? Penalty, I'm sorry.
Well, let me get to the penalty first. You either get in line or you get left behind. That's just the bottom line. Right. That sounds harsh, but let's just be honest. Black men have been accepting less for so long that now we're going to have to start having standards and sticking to them. We're going to have to set the mark and enforce it, drop it like nah, but whatnot. But that's what it is. There's going to have to be penalty and consequences. And the penalty and consequences, you're going to get gone. You're not going to be here. If you're not bringing peace, if you're not with my program and you got all that back talking, bye.
Say it again, Eric, because they say if you say back talking, you're talking to them like you're their dad. They get triggered when you say back talk and being disobedient. Well, yeah, say it again. Say it again, Eric.
Back talk, because you are being disobedient because you can't have a civil conversation.
Right.
When you're trying to talk to them, explain something that they don't really understand, or you're trying to explain something to help them understand, they automatically get in their in a defensive posture and they spring back and lunge at you because they don't want to hear what you say because they don't value. So at that point in time, that's where they get foot to boot.
Right.
Be gone. And black men have to stand to it. I had a relationship where I was with the woman. I told her in the relationship, I said, when I'm done with you, I'm done with you. I said, I'm not coming back. She didn't believe the fat meat was greasy.
She didn't believe it was greasy.
and when we broke up, I didn't call her.
Right.
3 months later, she called me.
Right.
And she tried to ease back in. And I told her, I was like, I'm so thankful that we're no longer together. I say, because I was able to do more. I was able to buy my first rental property 3 months after we broke up.
Right.
And I told her it was because of you. Because you didn't want to see me succeed. You wanted me to live your life and your dreams instead of you getting with my program. So yeah, the consequences need to be swift and they need to be adhered to.
Right.
Now, as far as what you bring to the table at this point in time, I'm just going to dovetail on what Ty said because he pretty much summed it up. The bottom line is, I need peace. I need you to be on my program. I need you to help me do the things that are going to make us better. The so-called attitude and stuff, I don't need that. I need you to be peaceful. If I'm going to be out here slaying dragons and stuff, then I need to come home and have peace and you get on the program. Yeah, every day is not supposed to be a happy day. There's going to be ups and downs. That's trials and tribulations. But the overall a life that we live is going to be better than most as long as you do your part and I do my part and it balance each other out and we both have that understanding.
Right.
Stuff, like Ty said, will come along with it. If we're going on trips, you going with me. If we're going out to buy a new car or a new house, you're going to get the benefits of that too. So if you do your part, then I do my part. And that's not really a lot to ask for. Be fit, be feminine, cook food, be friendly, and be fornicating. That's just it. I mean, how hard can that be? But it seems to be a hard thing. It ain't that hard to break it down.
Well, you're gonna be married, Eric. You ain't gonna be fornicating, but you're gonna be committing fornication. You married, but you know what, man? You know what you're saying is very paramount. Gail said something perfect. She's 100% correct, and that's why I say I wouldn't deal with most American women because she made an excellent point. They're not used to male authority, so anytime a man opens his mouth with demands, his /wants, it sounds like an attack. But here's the crazy thing, Eric. I tell this to all my esoteric brothers. You believe in the teachings of the prophet Jesus. Jesus said when he saw the woman at the well that he spoke with great authority. He didn't say, dear, get up. He didn't say, could you please get up? But he said, woman, get up. And he said, don't you sin again unless something great comes against you. But we live in a time where American men have been more or less pigeonholed or more or less put in a can. And they can't express their masculinity because I'm a masculine man. And I'll be damned if I'm going to go to the grave being a damn cream puff. Like I said from the show last week, taxation without representation and the mental breaking of the American male. If it gets to the point where my manhood's constantly being damn challenged, you can cook, you can give sex. It don't mean a damn thing. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing, you're manipulating the process. You're still not obedient. Nobody don't give a damn about no sex. I don't care about no damn meal. I can get that from me. I can make my own meals. If I'm single, I can get sex from anyone. And you ain't really getting nothing in return. Or I can do what you're doing, go abroad, travel abroad, and get a woman that has been trained and conditioned to submit to the authority of her husband as he submits to her in love. Because many women don't understand that submission is a duality. And that's why I don't think it's important to listen to some of these relationship coaches like Myron Gaines, that's a fraud, fake and fraud. And some of these other relationship coaches that have ulterior motives, because you are investing seed in fallow ground. The ground is toxic. It's barren. It's not going to bear forth great fruit. I'm not saying every woman in this country, but there's some decent women like Sister Gail. But I think those women are far in between. You don't see them that much. So why in the heck would you waste your time, your energy, and your money on women that really don't add anything of substance to the table? Back in the day, like you said, when we was in high school, at least you got a woman that have no kids or 3 or 4 kids, and most of them won't ran through. But now you got women that been ran through, got 5, 6 kids, once again by Raekwon, Man, and Shermite, but they want a damn ring. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it because men are the arbiters of relationships. We determine who we buy. But then they got the nerve to shame you if you want something better. She can say he got to be 6'4", 6'5". Like, Tia Son Johnson did a show called, he was talking about it was like an exes about what a man's worth is. Based on many exes, I'm 6'5", 6'6" with shoes on, highly educated, almost 800 credit, went to an elite school. I'm a McDonald's All-American. I got Leo swag. So I'm a McDonald's All-American. And so why would a man waste his time on fallow ground? And I'm going to encourage some of you men that's listening. I want you guys to speak with conviction. You tell that woman what you want, like the prophet Jesus did. He told the woman to get up. And I know it's going to put you in a stratosphere where many people are going to say you're misogynistic, but you're not misogynistic. You're a man. Eric, when we were in Brazil and when I shot the movie with Brother Al Green's Frustrated 3 that's coming out, make sure y'all get it, don't bootleg it. We saw.
Go ahead, man.
We saw feminine women. We saw cooperative women. We saw men that were men. We was at Mavs, and I remember a guy said something to the woman, and the woman started crying, but nobody came to her rescue because the men had authority and power. And so I would tell men, don't even waste your time with some of these relationship coaches, because some of these guys are shaming guys like us, the guys that travel, because they want to keep you on this plantation of servitude. Some I call it the commodification of subjugation. So Eric, finish adding it there. Well, actually, Eric, you already added to it. He said, "Who the hell is Shermite?" Shermite, man, Shermite and man.
Oh man.
But Mr. GG, in your own words, what must a woman bring to the table? What must a woman bring to the table?
Gotcha. Okay, you can hear me clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. When she has to bring to the table 100%, in my book, is basically she has to complement a lot of things that I, as a man, cannot compliment because she's a woman. What I mean is this: she has to bring 100% strong submission to the table. There's no exception. Okay. I have ran into so many North American women that told me to my face they do not like the word submission. And some reason, feminism has really taught them that the word submission means slavery. Like, it's crazy, right? But you have to submit full-heartedly. I'm not talking about as a slave. No, I'm talking about submitting yourself as a woman to allow me to be the man I know I am to lead the relationship or lead us to the next destination. So submission, full-heartedly, being feminine, compliant, non-argumentative, non-disagreeable, and very, very cooperative. Now, I'm not saying to be a yes woman or a no woman or anything like that, but within reason. And a lot of them, in my opinion, are not going to be satisfied until something like that's happening in Afghanistan right now is going to happen right here.
Right.
Those guys are not tolerating that stuff out there. All right. Those women over there, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but some of those women over there are actual United States news reporters. They are not slipping up at all and cutting them any type of slack. A woman is a woman, and they get treated accordingly over there. Okay. Right. Let me hear it. Accordingly over there. Okay. There's none of that independent woman and I get to have rights. None of that stuff. All that stuff gets nipped in the bud like half a second. This is just how it is. But back on topic. In order for her to bring something to the table, right, she has to bring my attraction to the table to the point of where she knows for a fact that if this man comes into my life, I have to know that I have to appreciate this man and keep him in my life and not self-sabotage it to the point of thinking that I can always put him back on the shelf and have him replaced with somebody else.
Right.
And that's the mentality of these women nowadays, that they really believe that all of us guys are really replaceable until we start exploring what we've actually discovered, the black man's option. And we have our option, you know. And now once we discovered our options, these women now right here in North America, I don't like saying America, I say North America, okay? Big difference between South America and Central America. North America, they're starting to discover that guys are getting their passports for leaving. A lot of the guys that are just not dating these women anymore. A lot of these guys are incels. They're starting to discover this stuff, and it's getting like huge. I've seen so many on YouTube, these TikTok videos, and I don't know if you guys looked at it. Go to Taylor the Fiend's channel. Hundreds of these women are getting on TikTok, sad, crying, asking why come North American men in both United States and Canada, we're not approaching them anymore. No. Ever since the Me Too movement, the Me Too era, what happened to Jeff Bezos, Dr. Dre, I mean, we can go on, you know, as far as these guys actually being convicted and all that, guys are like, it's not worth the time. If I've accumulated a certain amount of wealth in my life, and I'm just walking up to this woman to just say hi, hello, right? There's nothing stopping her from saying, hey, back when I was 12 years old, years ago, this man did X, Y, and Z to me. And she'll get it. She will more than most likely get away with it in court. It's to the point now that a woman can make up whatever she wants to, say it to the law, and then without any evidence, they'll believe it, and you either have to pay a fine or do time in the penitentiary. Forget that. Guys are like, it's not worth it. So nowadays,
Mr. Gigi, hold on for a minute.
Go ahead.
Fresh and Fit podcast. I don't know if that was an avatar or a troll, but if you want to come into the session or the show, feel free to add to the discussion. I don't know if it's a troll or or it's really Fresh and Fit podcast, but feel free to add to this collaboration because these are men that are talking, and if you want to share your story, and if you disagree with what we are saying, tell us why. Tell us why. Real quick, hold on for a minute, Mr. GG. Snuggle668 said, again, why should a woman submit when the laws give her utmost authority? Who is the person going to submit to if there's no recourse? And guess what? She's correct. That's why I tell men to abort, abandon, and focus on your purpose. Exactly. And join groups like BMO with Deacon Eric Spencer, and go to the promised land where the women are fit, friendly, kind, cooperative, know how to cook, love God, and they'll make you feel like a young man. They'll make you say, like Maya Angelou say, I know why the cage birds sing, because she's a kind, fit, friendly woman. But and then also blind guy, his wife, their life. He's correct. He said, return to sender is not an option with our men. And see, let me tell you guys something, man. You know, as a therapist, we talk about something called a psychosomatic response, mind over body, body over mind. And so when the mind and body is calibrated, then everything works for the benefit of the man. When the mind and body is calibrated, then everything works for the benefit of the man. But if you're with a woman that's cantankerous, disagreeable, doesn't follow your program, don't keep arguing with it. You know, you got to be like Noah. I know some of y'all got the spirit like Noah. You know, when he was in the antediluvian times, he kept telling them hard-headed heathens to repent, but they didn't want to repent. But you got to do like Deacon Eric Spencer say. Some don't believe the fat meat is greasy, and you got to let them get a heart attack before they come to the sense.
Look. We've had these discussions time and time again, but the environment has changed, and you know, the term "the winter is coming," you know, that was grown man business. And the first time I heard it, he used it last year. He was talking about winter's coming, talking about women out here with the deer headlights trying to get toilet paper. That was like the first red flag. It was like, you now when it hit the fan, you're starting to see, oh, well, you the man, now you got to go ahead and get toilet paper. So, and the environment has just accelerated. And unfortunately, you're going to see that. And I tell people, it's not about you being vengeful, because that's not it. But there's certain things that have just happened that you continue to let happen. You've had the upper hand for so long. Now that black men are speaking out and they're pushing back, you have a problem with it. But what they're saying is correct.
Right.
And they don't believe it. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the environment change. And I tell people this all the time, and they better get ready for it. Because if you haven't traveled, you don't understand what's going to happen in the States here too. And they're already moving towards that. You're going to see United States to start resembling more Brazil than people are used to seeing here in the States.
Right.
If you traveled, you've seen extreme poverty. You know what it is not to have, and seen people that do more with less and are still happy. Here in the States, you're not used to that. The majority of people aren't used to that. But that's a reality that's coming. And a lot of people, they're going to get a glimpse of it this winter. You're going to start seeing women in these shelters, and they're not going to have any place to store them. You don't have any jobs. You don't have any money for them. And the men that you've been criticizing for the last 50, 60 years are the men that you need, and they're walking away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the honest to God truth. You know, there isn't any ill will intended, but you want to be men. There's consequences to being a man. We get the rewards. We also get the consequences. And what you're going to see is the consequences are coming. And men, black men is up like us. We're going to have to go against our nature, and we're just going to have to let it happen, because we've done everything else that we could to try to avert this, and it hasn't worked. So we're at the point where you're going to have to see that. And as men, we're going to have to understand that it is a process, and for us to have a better generation with the younger people that are coming up, so that they can have good people to choose from, to have stable families and rebuild a community. Some just going to have to let them burn. And as men, we understand there's consequences. So we're just going to have to go through with it.
Well, you know, I don't know if that was a UFO. It said Fresh and Fit podcast. You know, was that an identified flying object? I don't.
Look, right now, if it is them, hey, you can come up and talk. But really, if I was them, I'd go sit down someplace and think about Abba being in Miami next week. That's what I would be thinking about.
Well, listen, if that really was Fresh and Fit podcast, please come to the show, because, you know, I want to hear what you guys are saying. Because, you know, a lot of guys feel that you have been complicit in bad behavior. The evidence don't lie. I got my man Saul. You've been listening patiently, and I believe that you're a Muslim. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. I want you to talk about how the culture in your faith is totally different than American culture. But before we start, listen, guys, I love you guys. Oh my God, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys have done a great job helping me build this platform. And I promise you, you won't find a therapist more kosher than me. Because it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Ty, I ain't gonna knock down the 7 principles, man, because you might start laughing at me because I might forget. I might get a schema affliction. But but guys, listen, I need you guys to donate to this show. The number, listen, guys, you guys got to donate. Donate to Cash App, but also donate to PayPal. If you like what I'm doing, I love you guys, but I need you guys to get the likes up and donate. But listen, get this show to 17 more people. Tell them to subscribe. Because we had 1,000. When we get 1,000, we're going to celebrate. We're going to shout the victory like they used to do in the old Pentecostal church and from the Baptist church of Deacon Eric Spencer from 252. We're going to shout the victory. So let's shout the victory tonight. Let's get this channel to 1,000. Let's get it to 1,000 because I love you, brothers. And I want to continue to preach this message because Eric Spencer is an antagonist to many men or women. When Charles Tyler died, Eric said that a lot of women were rejoicing.
Facts.
They saw Charles Tyler, they were like the munchkins on the Wizard of Oz say, yea, calls the wicked witch, the wicked witch, the wicked witch. Yea, calls the wicked witch is dead. They saw Charles Tyler as the wicked witch. And I'm telling guys, listen, when I filmed for the movie for Brother Al Grease, the men there are cool brothers, man. The older women and men are good people. The energy, oh my God, a good feminine kind woman will make you live long. Many people talk about marriage makes men live long. That's a myth. A righteous woman can make a man live long if she's feminine, fit, and cooperative. But a quarrelsome and cantankerous woman will run a man to the rooftop. And that's why so many men tend to die off early because they're stressed out. Teddy Pendergrass said, and I say it all the time, he said, you are the Mona Lisa because you inspire me. A woman's supposed to be inspirational. But most American women are not inspirational because they come in with a default hard drive. They come in with a mindset to control you. Happy wife, happy life. Instead of coming in as two together and letting that man lead the relationship. Many say they believe in traditional relationships. They say that they're Christians, but many are actually default feminists. Because when you give a woman, tell a woman, use a word like command or obey, some women get triggered. So that lets me know they're not used to true masculine men. Saul. I want you to talk about your culture and how in your culture the women are expected to act and what's dependent. I know you're a Muslim, so your worldview is more Ibrahimic. But I want you to talk to the audience about that.
But I was raised here, I was born and raised in Philly. So what's interesting is that because obviously for those that don't know, yes, as the man, you're supposed to be the protector, maintainer of women in your household, and you are. It is your duty to lead the household. And what's crazy to me is that this whole feminist take on religion is actually affecting our community, a lot of our community now too, where you even have the imams really pandering to the women and just kind of preaching this whole westernized romantic fantasy that's really giving the women false expectations. So similar to what you might see in some congregational churches, that's actually the same thing is actually happening in the community. It's at a point where you have this attitude where it's like, again, the man is always wrong. Everything's supposed to be your fault, and you're supposed to be supposed to be the happy wife, happy life type of thing. When again, it goes against what I was raised. It goes against what I was raised on, and I think, again, like I said, I think it boils down to just taking a stand and simply saying that, I'm just co-signing the point that when you have a program and you're on your purpose, again, it's simple. Either the woman, she submits and she gets with that program, or leave her alone.
Right.
It's as simple as that. Leave her alone because it's not worth your time and it's pointless. And from what I've seen, from the mistakes and trials and errors of the men above being generation. I've seen what selecting the wrong woman can do to your legacy, and it's definitely not fun. I've definitely seen grown men have to deal with the child support. I'm talking about grown men who are productive with their life, who were all about building a legacy, only for a woman to get emotional and use the system against them, and not even realize that you're shooting yourself in the foot because you are wrecking the household. And it makes it harder for the man to provide, for a man to achieve what his purpose was. And next thing you know, at least I guess the icing on the cake is that, the men who I have seen go through this that are close to me, I have seen them come out on top. And, the woman has to learn a lesson like, damn, I really screwed up. And, it's always like, yeah, I want you back. I want to take you back and everything. It's like, no, moved on. We've been through that hell already. We've been through that hell already. But I definitely believe that we have to really, we have to really just continue to take a stand and support each other. And definitely, I know you speak about the concept you spoke about the conscious and the unconscious simps.
Yes, sir.
And
Right.
Yes, and those are, I definitely have dealt with those in the past. So like, when I'm the one, again, just stand in my masculine frame, not taking the crap. Interesting enough, these types of dudes tend to be the most dangerous types because they're the ones that are going to try to run the HR or put the word in, the woman's head saying, yeah, that's a misogynist. He's rude to women, he hates women and stuff like that. And interesting enough, like, when you think about it, man, I doubt there's too many, conscious, unconscious simps in a place like Afghanistan. Because if you do that type of stuff, again, I don't want to get flagged, but and that's one thing I found quite interesting about that news update is that you really saw that it was interesting. Not to get off topic, but 20 years of war, and a lot of men were saying, man, I feel sorry for the women there. And that's interesting because I asked myself, so 20 years of war, you don't think men and boys' lives have been affected? Are they not civilian men who, just trying to mind their own business, make a living, and have had to deal with the entire conflict? But I think that goes to show you that with this gynocentric and this feminist education, miseducation that we've all been taught, that we've been taught to not even value our own selves.
Right. That's true.
That 20 years of war, not even if you don't even want to factor in those who are enlisted and those who are fighting the conflict. What about the men who have just been affected by this conflict? But all you can hear is all the women, because supposedly the women they can't do this or they can't do that. It's like, and at the end of the day, I look at it like this. Those men are about what they say they're about at the end of the day.
Right.
Whether you agree with everything that goes on or not. The point is, in 20 years, they had a mission, and historically, they accomplished it. So think about what you can take from that example is think about what you're determined about. What exactly are you determined about? What are we determined about to achieve? And kind of getting back to the point where you mentioned that we just have to kind of separate. I'm completely with that. Separating, us Black folks who believe in a solid, two-parent household, and a patriarchal household where the man is the leader and the woman submits. Those of us who agree, we should separate because the gynocracy is not working and it's dangerous.
Right. It's not working.
It's not working. It's not working. Your children are going to either they're going to partake in a life of crime. They're going to be confused. They're going to be sexually confused. There's so much going on, and there's so much going, or they're gonna end up dead at an early age. Law knows best. And there's just no point. There's no point in associating ourselves, especially with the way things are going on. Like for instance, in this city like Philly, I mean, we're having situations where you have 15-year-old children dying like every other day. And it's just like, if there were men in the households, this would not be happening. We're talking about 15-year-old boys and girls. We're talking 15-year-old girls doing crime now, shooting each other. That was unheard of when I was growing up.
Right.
Completely unheard of when I was growing up.
Right.
So,
no, you're correct. And that's why, as I keep reiterating, that the man's table is his kingdom.
Right. And that's what
she brings to that kingdom is what amplifies him. My good friend El Guapo, he's about to marry his beautiful Labea soon. And see, the thing I love about his story, and El Guapo, if you're listening, please come on, because El Guapo has a table, and his table is his kingdom. But here's the kicker. His woman was willing to acquiesce to the mandates of his kingdom. She was willing to be fit, feminine, kind, cooperative, and more or less meet the mandates of her king. And so she's from Colombia. And so that's why I tell men, you don't have to deal with this crap in America. You know, you don't have to deal with it. You know, if they don't obey or follow your lead as a man, just get rid of them. Because let me tell you something I've learned about a lot of women. A lot of women are charlatans. They're not real. They'll fake it for as long as they can, but eventually their true nature will come out. In the edicts of the Old Testament, it says, can a leopard change its spots? And they can't, because if they're not true to the core, then the true person will come out. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And a lot are not pure in heart, they're charlatans. See, women, when they start scouting men, they know what they're trying to get. They'll scout you, you know. They know what you want, what they want. So they will become a facade of what you want. But once you get into a relationship, you realize that they were just a phony. And so you spend, like the song about TLC, a lot of times chasing waterfalls. And they never become the woman that you want. And then you wake up and you're damn near dead. And then you say, you know, like me and Dr. O said, the whole world laughing at me, silly fool. The whole world laughing at me because you didn't make the right choice in the woman that you were dealing with. Eric, what do you say about that? And I know you got to go. You said up to 2 hours, but this show is getting good. It's actually getting crunk. But Eric, what do you think about that? And guys, please donate to the show. We're at 983. We're at 983. I need 17 to cross over into freedom. I need 17 to cross over into freedom to go to the north.
Freedom. He said to freedom.
Yeah.
I need 17. Go ahead, Eric. What's your take on what brother? What was said?
I mean, you know, but basically, it's pretty much what we've been talking about all night. Like, look, there's a problem in the States. We know it's a problem in the States, but there's a small segment of us that know there's a problem in the States, and unfortunately, we can't change the majority because the vast majority are too far gone.
Right.
So,
I agree. Right.
As thinking black men, you're gonna have to make a choice. I mean, this is where we're at. You're gonna have to make a choice because the community, as we know it, is gone.
Right.
It's gone. How much longer are you going to continue to sacrifice your life for people that don't give a damn about you?
Right.
And could care less. As long as you're doing what they do, they want you to do, to be an ATM or to be a community unit or the cleanup man, you're good. But you being a critical thinker, thinking and putting yourself first and being on your purpose and making sure that you're okay, they have no use for you.
Right.
Now, I do think there's a larger segment of us that are growing. I think a lot of the younger guys are also picking up on this because you do see a lot of uptick in these little short TikTok videos and whatnot, where young men are starting to wake up to what we've been talking about. But even still, it's not a big enough number because you still have like these, like he was saying, you have these men, these religious figures, the media and stuff that are still preaching that black men and masculinity is toxic. So how much longer are you going to sacrifice your life to combat something that you know is not true?
Right.
And you have to make a decision.
No, I totally agree. You said it perfect. You know, blind guy, his wife, and their life say, is there another solution in addition to separate from the riffraff? We're already doing that, but at some point we must cross paths. And you know what, blind guy, his wife, they're like, that's an excellent question. You know, you guys grew up Pentecostal like I did. And Moses, when he was in the Old Testament, he said, I set before you life and death. Choose. It's incumbent upon the woman if she wants the provision and the protection of the man. It's incumbent upon her. And so I say choose, because either way the man is going to choose. He's going to either choose to walk away or to live in hell. Or she's going to choose to cooperate or be left alone. It's a zero-sum game.
Pretty much.
Am I right, E? It's a zero-sum game.
Before it wasn't like that. We could come to the table and compromise, but at that time, a lot of men, black men, were still under the delusion of the social media, i.e., the music, the movies, and all the other stuff. They want to be a happy family and all the other stuff, and that's not true. They want to get out here, drop it like it's hot. They want to twerk where twerking is. They want to twerk at the White House. They think they're doing all these things that it's empowering. And I'm like, you're only just diminishing your image, the image that you claim that's not who you are. Yes, it is. And you've earned that image. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to fix something that you can't, is unfixable? How are you going to correct something that you can't correct? You're not. You can't.
Right. No, you're correct. You know, Eric, you've been around. Eric is well traveled. I think Eric has been to at least 20 countries, I believe. I could be wrong.
28.
28. Okay, 28 countries. And Eric, when you
Wow.
when you give a comparative analysis of women from various aspects of this country, whether they're from the diaspora or from Asia, you know, as a single man, you're a single man, Ty's single, Mr. Gigi is single, I'm married. But as a single man, what has that beauty done for you? What has that beauty done for you? What has that femininity done for you? And thank you, brother Sio J. Okay, yeah, please support the platform. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. But what has that done for you?
No, it's inspiring. It really is. And it's not just about the women. The women are the icing on the cake.
Right.
But it's also you experiencing other things because you've been told that United States is the end all be all, and that's just not true.
Right.
There's so many other parts of this world that most people would never see. You know, they'll never get to go and see a glacier in Greenland or experience Singapore or even go to Germany and experience the Black Festival, Wine Festival, some Black Forest Wine Festival, different things, just so many different things that this world has to offer outside of the United States. The United States is not end all be all. We have beautiful places here, but there's so much more than just the States. And when you explore those things, it becomes a part of you. You actually grow because you're expanding your boundary. I mean, you're going to Thailand, and you know I can get a 3-piece suit. I can get fresh seafood. You know, myself, I like to eat a lot of fresh fruit and stuff like that. You know, and still be around feminine women, and all in one little small area. It's like, wow, that's crazy. Let alone all the cultural stuff, you know, Bangkok, experience to other people, just be in their environment and their energy. Like, dude, that's priceless. You talking about going to your deathbed with regrets. Dude, I've seen more of this earth than most people seen of their city. And I'm thankful for that because I know a lot of people just didn't have the opportunity or they were scared to do so. But there's still so much more for me to see. But you limiting yourself here, you're limiting your capacity. And you know, like Ty said earlier, yeah, you can get a lot of approach a lot of younger women and mold them to take them with you to travel, to understand. Because if you take them with you and they see how it really is outside the matrix, that also help get them in line. Because now, like, look, this is what is really going on in these countries. You see how fortunate you are to be in the United States with a man that can guide you and help you so that you don't have to live that life. You know? But it's something that you have to decide for yourself.
No, I totally agree with you. Mr. Stewart, thank you, sir. So grateful for that kind and generous donation and offering. I call it love offering. Sound like I'm in church. But thank you for that cash app. I'm forever grateful, man. I love you guys, man. I love what I'm doing. You know, me and Ty, we talking private, brother Dick and Eric Spencer, even Mr. Gigi off and on. But this is my purpose. You know, this show was actually built out of pain, the pain that I've been through as a man. And, you know, I encroached my 50th birthday, and I realized half my life is over. And so you get to a point in your life where you realize, you know, you ain't going to continue to tolerate no more BS. Either you're going to defecate or you're going to get off the pot. It's literally that simple. And if you don't get off the pot, then there's going to be consequences. And so, you know, you won't find a brother. I'm going to find a genuine brother and brother Eric Smith. Me and Eric remind me of him and I mirror each other so much. He got that Scorpio swag, but of course, I'm King Leo. You know, everybody bow to the king. Don't forget.
Don't get stoned.
He said, "Don't let it get in trouble."
Don't get stoned.
You know, we got them. Tell them, Tom, we got big paws. You know, we step on Scorpio. But anyway, but you know, Eric is a rare brother. You know, Eric is one of the real brothers that you see in this space. You know, he's genuine, and I saw his genuineness firsthand When I lost my phone in Brazil, when I needed help, he was there. You know, Eric is intense. He's a Scorpio. You know, he come off like a drill sergeant, but I laugh at him because I'm a Leo, don't forget. But he has a big heart, man. You won't find a brother more genuine than him. And we parallel so much because, you know, Eric found a brother that's similar to him. My mom and dad are still married. They've been married for over 50 years. Over 50 years. I've been married for over 25 years. And I said once and I'll say it again. If I was a single man again in this culture, I would probably stay a single man because most don't meet my standards. I'm an iconoclast to many, but I'm a blessing to others in other countries. In other countries, women love masculine men. But here in America, because of the conditioning of our women, I'm an iconoclast, meaning when they see me, they want to throw stones because they're not used to masculine men. Masculine men are not going to provide for hard-headed, uncooperative women. We're not going to. If your mouth get greasy, like I said on the lead attorney, you can get this work. Because masculine men are not going to give their best to women that don't respect them as men. Even God himself don't give his best to disobedient children. And so if God doesn't give his best, how much more should a man not give his best to a woman that does not honor and obey him? You see so many broken men. I've heard brothers that I've talked to in private say the wives don't cook, they barely get sex, and they still providing and protecting. And you know what I told them? I said, you're a damn fool because you allow to do it. I would never tolerate that kind of disrespect as a man. I'm not going to work hard and give to somebody that's not honoring me. You're not getting nothing special. Unfortunately, with most women there, you know, 50 years ago, my mom was a virgin. My grandma was one too. You can't even get you can't even get a low body count with some. And I know this is controversial, but it's true. But they want you to be a provider, protector. They want you to give everything. They want you to give everything, but they bring nothing but headaches. Because see, your table is the kingdom. And what she adds to that table can either be toxic, which can be a weight, or it can be an asset, which is something great. Mr. GG, you are encroaching. You are in bad relationships. And we're going to end this show in a minute. Eric got to go. But Mr. GG, you have been in relationships. What must a woman bring to your table? And tell me why.
Sure, gotcha. Okay, cool. First of all, I wanted to congratulate you on your 25 years of marriage. It actually does give the percentage of guys out there some hope.
I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur, bro.
Yeah, because a lot of guys. I just hear too many of these marriages that go down the drain, man. After 20 plus years, it's crazy. But congratulations, man. It's you give some people hope out there, man. Like a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, my wife was more or less old school, but
okay.
Even my wife, compared to some of the other cultures, she's either equal in some areas lower because those women are just trained different. There's no indictment against her, but it's just the way, like El Guapo said, El Guapo had a Southern belle, and El Guapo was saying, that even though the Southern women that he was married to were good women, they still don't compare to the women in foreign countries. They're just raised different, and it's no disrespect to American women.
Sure.
They're just raised to honor and respect their men. Because see, feminism is a first world problem. And third world country, they got to cooperate. And like Eric is saying, the time is coming when there will be 7 women to 1 man. Who shall be able to stand in? The time is coming. The time is coming. It's going to be 7 women to 1 man. And the same women that have dishonored and disrespected their men, they're going to be the ones at the doors, at the doorpost knocking, or the big head text.
Sure.
But like Eric said, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. He's going to be on the wings of freedom.
Yeah, I got a fold-up table.
Wings of freedom.
Yeah. I got a fold-up table. So when I build that table, I pick that table up and I fold the legs and I fold in half and they click together. And I'm going to check them at the airport, taking my table with me.
Along with the fold-up chair too, right?
Yeah,
the fold-up chair too.
That's fine. As long as I got the table, they can get the chairs. I'm good.
But Mr. Gigi, real quick, because this has been an awesome show, and we're gonna center it back around a little bit about Fresh and Fit before we leave, because this show is dichotomous. But what must a woman bring to your table? I don't know, how old are you? About 38, 36?
I'm 38. I'm Team Virgo. Okay, I'm money man. Okay,
you're the money man.
September 6th. Okay, I got a birthday right around the corner. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we're about the pinnacles around here. In order for her, I was trying to answer that earlier though, but basic, feminism. She has to be feminine, all right? Not a feminist, but feminine, compliant, submissive. She has to be cooperative, non-argumentative, non-combative. These are just simple things. Sex on demand. You understand? Just simple things. You know, I don't require much. I just don't, you know, but the thing is that we're indoctrinated with a first world situation of so much toxic feminism out there, to the point, like I said, if you say the word submissive or submissiveness to a woman, in her mind, she takes that 100% as slavery. I'm not going to be a slave or anything like that. But the moment you go to Brazil or Colombia or the Ukraine or Thailand or the Philippines, and you see these guys in videos happy, not sad, not depressed, with smiles and happiness. And these guys are getting almost 100% of what a woman should bring to the table. And these women here, they cannot stand it. They cannot. You know, when I watched Al Gree's video, Frustrated, right? I still watch it to this day. And those brothers in there were like, oh, geez, it was cool. They said, we've seen some North American women come down here, and they've seen literally hundreds of these women coming and talking to us in Portuguese. They barely spoke English. They came and talked to us. Those women were holding their heads down low because they could not hold a candle to those women. And I was like so happy to see that, man. But yes, to answer your question, yes, those are the qualities she needs to bring to the table. Otherwise, though, I give the formula the first 90 days to 6 months. Ask the tough questions to her. Put her through tests that you need to. If she does not do the things that you need her to do, you need to cut that ass off, man. Quit playing. These guys are sitting up here, well, my wife hasn't cooked for me in years, and, you know, or she's gained over 50 and 100 pounds over time, because usually that's the biggest thing. So when they get married and lock you down and they stop looking pretty, they start gaining weight, you know, they start being combative and non-submissive, you know, because they did all that just to get you in the door. You understand that?
Right.
You know, and this also happens in just regular relationships. Now, not all women, if there's other women who's listening, not all women, but there's a vast majority in North America and the UK that a lot of this stuff happens in. So if you really want change, women out there, I would highly suggest this. And shout out to Lapeef, because I listen to Lapeef's channel too. You have to start holding your women accountable. If she's disrespecting these men out there, right, and you know she's leaving these guys for Ray and Shaquan and Tyrone and all that, you need to call those women out and tell them, don't leave that man. Stay with them. Do what you got to do to keep that man. You know, RIP to Charles Tyler again, because he said that on his channel. You know, you have to be able to start calling your own women and own sisters accountable. But what they don't do, they don't want to hold them accountable. They rather lie to them, tell them what they want to hear, so then therefore, though, they can continue to repeat the cycle. But the time is now, women, break the cycle. You got younger women out here and younger kids out here you got to raise, and you got to create a better future. Otherwise, a lot of us brothers, we're going to be leaving you guys. And after that, you're going to create a society full of guys that are very, very similar to what's happening in Afghanistan, while the high quality men are out overseas.
You know, right, no doubt, brother. Thank you, Dr. O. McCoy. I love that sister. She always come through. Thank you, Dr. O, for that generous donation. Thank you, brother Basit. And also, once again, thank you, Mr. Stewart. I'm grateful again for your kind service and your donation. You know, you look at men like Eric Spencer, my man Ty Maynard Cutner, you know, and we're gonna bring this show circle. We're gonna about to end in a couple of minutes. But you know, like I said, I'm 6'5", so in many countries I would be a McDonald's All-American. You know, I got good genes. You know, I would be a McDonald's All-American. Eric is about 6 feet, I think 6 feet or 6'2". I think Eric about 6'1", 6 feet, 6 feet. You know, Eric would be a star. You know, he make great money, in good shape. And, you know, Eric, in some circles, some women don't even think you're enough. Ty, it's not a bad-looking brother. You know, Ty is slim, about 5'11", 6 feet. Got that Kermit the Frog swag. You know.
Wait, Kermit the Frog swag. Okay. Look at that's like a backhanded compliment.
No. Ty don't talk about. No, because Ty's slim. Ty's slim. Ty know what I'm talking about. I call him
Well,
Ty
anyway.
Kerman. I talk Ty Kerman. He Ty know what I'm talking about. That's my little junior. But my point is, you know, we settle for so much. We settle for so much mediocrity here in America, man. And so let's center this show back around Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit as we're about to end it. There are bigger names that actually tell men to get married in America. They actually push marriage and relationships. And Eric, we've talked about this in private. Dr. O funny. He's a handsome Kermit. You know, he's a handsome Kermit.
Hey, I wouldn't take that.
Listen. Before we even touch on that, I want to bring back an older point that we had, right? To try to clean some of this stuff up. Right? This is for the ladies. This is for the ladies, right? So, we talk about earlier. We were talking about how, you know, the man is the sun, the woman is the moon, and how the woman reflects the light that the man gives.
The glow, right? The glow.
I think it was somebody said in there, why should a man submit when the law gives them the power to do whatever they want? Here's the thing: that men and women haven't changed in hundreds of thousands of years, right? The stuff that a woman has, if she has a Benz and she has nice clothes and all that stuff, and she had to buy it for herself, that's no elevation. If a man is giving her those things, now she's elevated. Now she has a sense of elevation because she didn't have to break her knuckles to get that.
Mm-hmm.
She get to say, "There's a man that gave this to me. I'm so feminine that another man has worked to give me this." Because if she had to do that herself, that means she's so masculine to do that. Because it took masculinity for that man to be able to provide that for her. So even if the women who are out here doing stuff on their own, those women are not happy. That's why they end up with cats and bag ladies and that's the reason why they're shaming men. What else are they gonna do? What else are they gonna do? Because they're trying to sell inferior product. What else are they gonna do? If you have an inferior product, if you're trying to sell a car, you know it's a lemon, you're gonna talk it up. You're gonna talk it up. You're gonna maybe slap on a coat of paint. That's what the implants and the butt lifts, all that stuff. You're gonna slap on a coat of paint on that thing. You're gonna try to sell it to somebody else. You're gonna say, "Hey man, get this thing. It's good. Get it." And then when you get it, as soon as you drive off the road, the wheels fall off the thing. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do. But what do you expect from them? What do you expect? What are they supposed to do? If you got a lemon, what else you gonna do but try to sell it? You know what I mean? So I can't fault them for trying to do what they're trying to do, but it is man who elevates women. It is the man who allows the woman to be in her true femininity because she can't be truly feminine if she has to work.
Right.
If she got to get her hands dirty, you know what I mean? If she got to punch a clock, how is she going to be feminine when she's working? It is the man that allows her to do that because we as men, we enjoy working. We enjoy it. We feel a sense of satisfaction when we make money. We work to do that because, again, we cannot get pregnant. What we give to this earth is what we created with our hands. Right. That's why we work. That's why we find our passion and our mission and our purpose. Women don't do that. So all the women who are out here and they're trying to make their own money and they're complaining on the internet, all that, if they're complaining, they're not happy. The women who are happy in marriages with men, you don't hear from them. You don't hear from them. They're out living their life. They're shopping. They're doing things. They're going on trips. They're not complaining about what they don't have, what they need, or what men should be doing and all that. Because they got a man in life that's doing what the man should be doing. So they're not doing that. Anytime you hear a woman complaining, she ain't happy. And that's the reason why when the times get rough and all that stuff, and these women got the law and all that, and men are starting to understand because the law has gotten bad for a lot of men. A lot of men are going through a lot of situations, and they're smartening up, and they're telling these young brothers now, you ain't gonna be able to play that game forever. Fool me once. You know what I mean? And especially black men going through what we go through here in America. So, you know, there's your Kermit the Frog swag. See, the reason why he tried to throw that Kermit the Frog swag in there, because you know, the big woman be coming after me. So he tried to compare the Miss Piggies and stuff. And he tried to come after me. That's why he tried to do the Kermit the Frog on me. That's why he threw that in there.
Oh, okay.
But that's my homie though. Ty, he's in the kingdom. He's a Leo like me, so he got much swag. We got to go up to Maryland soon. But blind guy, his wife, and his life. So the culture has people thinking, "Come as you are." Nah, you got to work on yourself. People work on yourselves for your spouse. Only go to Jesus as your. And I agree. You know, women. If you had, and I think men should keep themselves looking good as well. But if you met that man being fit and in great shape, you need to keep doing it because men are very visual. You know, keep your hair, make your hair natural. Do something to make that man feel inspired. You're supposed to be his cheerleader. You're supposed to be his cheerleader, not his Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, facts. You know, I alluded to something when he was saying what he was saying, but basically, you know, it's lipstick on a pig.
Right.
That's a phrase that I heard a lot. You trying to put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. You know, and that's not to call anybody pigs, but that's just an analogy that shows that you're trying to put a Band-Aid on something and sell it to me.
Right.
But like I said, once I start shopping at the store, I can recognize that that's a lemon, or that's refurbished, or that's not what I want to spend my money on. I have options.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And like you said, they want to do quick fixes, but that's something that you have to be taught. You can't have, you know, the femininity taught to you in a course. That's something that takes years and years, because it's something that starts inside of you, and it has to resonate, because you have to give off that feminine energy. It's not like a light switch where you can just read a couple of chapters and all of a sudden, okay, I'm feminine now. No, that's not how it works. And to bring it back to the Fresh and Fit stuff, you want me to self-improve for subpar women.
Boom.
Thank you.
Women that I already know are subpar.
Right.
Women that I see. Are we going to talk about Miss Richardson that got smoked by the feminine Jamaican women?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, you know, she was Miss Thing, let her run, and she was talking all that yin yang. And when they ran today, she placed 6th. The women that won were the Jamaican women that were feminine, fit looking, and were very well spoken.
Right.
And yet she got on NBC cussing and carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't take a L. You want me to learn how to pick up that? No, thank you. I'm good. And for you to purport yourself to be something that you aren't, you're a fraud. Point blank. And you have no ground or authority to speak about brothers choosing better options. Point blank. Period. Because you're doing what you accuse us of, so that makes you a bigger hypocrite, because we're not out here trying to say that we're something else. We are who we are. You aren't. So you have to recognize that. And black men, you need to recognize these people that you listen to, because some of these people on this internet, they're for entertainment purposes only. They're not here to educate you. They really aren't. And that is a sad example of that. And I hate that it happened, but it is what it is. You put yourself in a position and you disrespected a man's wife. Come on, man.
Right.
Any brother would know that goes against the bro code. You don't talk about a man's wife or his children. So for you to come after passport guys, but yet you seeking arrangements, dude, you done. You done.
Well, he's not the only one, Eric. Many come against. Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying, because of the title of the show, and there are others like them. And I think a lot of guys that watch this content, are you watching it for education or entertainment? Because it seems like a lot of it is entertaining. Now, if you're entertainment, hey, that's fine. You want to be the Gong Show, or you want to be in Living Color, that's cool. I understand what that is. But don't come out here and say that I'm going to show you how to improve yourself for women, when I already know I'm dealing with subpar women to begin with. So who am I improving myself for?
Well, you know, it goes back to what Gail said. She's correct. She submitted to another man, helping him build his kingdom. And that's a problem with a lot of our women. Not all, but some. When they come home, they give their supervisor or boss or master the utmost respect, because they know it's a consequence. But to their husbands, they give him subpar behavior. And, you know, and Eric, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, man. You know, half of your life is about to be over. Our lives is about over. We don't have much time on this earth, man. Ty got about 10 more years more than us. He's younger than us, but and Mr. Gigi is younger. But Eric, you and I, man, you know, we might got 30 more years left. You
got 30 more years left. You got 30 more years left. Every time I'm talking to you, you got the go order. I already told you they get that diet order. I went to the gym today.
Well, listen, I went walking. So
I want to hear it. And I got my 8,000 steps in today. Now don't put me in your category.
And listen, I got all my steps in, and I got about 3 miles in walking, so I'm close.
Yeah, and about 3 double cheeseburgers and a side.
Oh my God!
I don't eat like that.
He
bro.
do that. He do that with you too. I'll be on the phone with this brother and be like, "Hey man,"
and he always ordering something. I'm like, bro, do you ever just not get nothing? You get extra stuff, extra rice, extra beans. I'm like, damn, Chipotle got all the stuff extra. What you want?
That's normal. One and done. That's
one and done. You say one and done.
One and done. One and done.
Listen, if Eric's saying it, I heard it too.
Exactly. So that's more than one. Cause we weren't on no conference call when you were ordering.
Right. Well, listen, guys, we're about to end the show in a few minutes. You know, this show came into my spirit because, you know, I've talked about it in the past, and I said the table is the kingdom, and I mean that because the man must set standards for his kingdom, but at the same time, a man can't mix pleasure with business, as Myron Gaines from Fresh&Fit did. They mixed business with pleasure, and because of that, now they're losing money. But also in relationships, as a man uses money to build his table, men can lose money in no-fault divorce. So it's important that men exercise their options as they seek women that can add things to his kingdom. Now, listen, guys, once again, we're 17 subscribers from going over to the promised land. And guys, you know, we got to get there. You know, Deacon Eric Spencer, he's gonna lead us to the promised land. You know, he's Harriet Tubman's protege. I'm Frederick Douglass. He's Harriet Tubman. So and Ty is Eldridge Cleaver. He's Eldridge Cleaver.
Okay.
Mr. Gigi Fiddler. But we need 17 before we go into the promised land, man. This has been a good show. It's been an excellent show. And before we end this show, starting with Mr. Gigi, what did you get out of this show? Why is the kingdom of man so important as he expect a woman to bring something to the table? Why is that so important before we end the show?
Got you. Okay. The kingdom is very important because you have to understand that if the man is setting the foundation, we need that chick to come in there and decorate it, man. And if I'm setting the foundation on this house, I'm putting these 2x4s, these bricks, or whatever it may be to build this house and this castle. I'm gonna need that woman to come in there and decorate. You know, if I do it by myself, hell, I got to do it by myself though. But if she's gonna be a part of my life though, I need this woman to help me build instead of while I'm building, this woman's taking away and destroying. You know, and there's a lot of that really going on. A lot of that. I experienced that personally in my real estate business. I had to cut a woman off one day. You know, because I mean, one thing I had to learn the hard way, you cannot, and it's true what you said, Mr. Kosher, you cannot mix business with pleasure. You can't. You have to master the art of keeping your personal life and your business life totally separate. I'm going to piggyback on the topic of Fresh and Fit real quick, you know, before you close up, and that is that it boils down to what Kevin Samuels said. You know, when a person is like losing an argument real bad or whatever may be, or a person is bringing very, very logical points to the person that's not understanding, they don't stay on topic. Instead, you can hit them with some knowledge, man, facts, statistics, evidence, proof, and then all of a sudden they start hitting you with, well, your mama fat, or you ugly, or you're gay, or whatever. Well, that's exactly what those gentlemen did. These guys, Abba and Preach, actually came with logic, smooth logic. And when they came with logic and actually addressed an issue to them, right, very maturely, he reacted out of what? Emotions, which means that actually diminishes character ability of being an alpha male, you understand, or a dating coach. And it also, in my opinion, you know, it actually made a lot of dating coaches, right, reputation, you know, kind of question a lot of things about other dating coaches in general. Not all, but just in general, because, I mean, there's so many relationship and dating coaches out there promoting these products, promoting all this money to actually improve your life and all this, but makes you question, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it? But you got like more guys getting their passport and they're like, well, the same amount of money I could have spent on this course, I could have actually went on a beautiful vacation somewhere that I've never been in my life, regardless of the pandemic. Yeah, because there are people traveling during the pandemic. It doesn't matter, right? And these people are happy. This is what it all boils down to. But again, back to the topic of what you were saying about the importance, I'm telling you this. Yes, if I'm building the foundation of this house or this castle, and this woman wants to come in, she has to help me build, curate, or whatever. I don't need anybody to take away. If I'm trying to build my real estate business, if I'm trying to actually delegate as much of the tasks as I can so I can have more time for my daughter, more time for my woman, more time to do the things I want to do, more things to actually travel, then that's what I need that person to be in my life for. But if they can't do it, I got to cut that ass off. And I mean fast. You know, I don't have time for it.
Right,
you know, like I said, the first 90 days, 6 months, it gives you a sneak preview of what you're going to be dealing with that woman long term. It is. If you don't believe me, think about it in your past relationships. That's just my opinion. But in that time frame, if I can't have this person prove to me that they're willing to build in my life and be consistent, not in and out, not coming and going as you pleasing, not the disappearing and then popping back, none of that inconsistent stuff, none of the immaturity. I don't need it in my life. I don't need you in my life. And I hope you brothers out there are understanding that. You don't have to settle for a lot of these toxic North American women who's putting you through all this crap, man. You know, just for you to prove to them that there's something that eventually they figure that they can replace you rather than value you and appreciate you. You know, like you said, time is short, man. And guys out here, right, we got to value our time. Otherwise, we're never going to get it back.
And listen, hold tight. Gail, El Guapo, come on for 1 minute, man, if you can, man, if you feel comfortable. If not, don't worry about it. But I want you to tell the audience about the table that you set and how the queen that you plan to marry soon is going to give you the outcomes that you want. So feel free to come on, El Guapo, for a few minutes if you can. If not, no issue. But until El Guapo come on, Gail, put the link down for El Guapo, you know, to tell the man what he wants for his kingdom and why having kingdom principles so important. But if not, El Guapo, no issue. Okay, hold tight. I'm gonna drop it. Hold tight real quick. All right. So Eric, as we're about to round this show up, the kingdom. What did you get out of this show and tell me why it was so important, Eric?
Well, excuse me. As far as the kingdom is concerned, I think it's more, it should be your kingdom, because it's your kingdom, your legacy, what you want to leave when you are on that deathbed and stuff, and you don't have those regrets. Yeah, there's going to be some things that you wish you would have done, but you still want to be on the aggregate. I did a lot of things that I want to do and don't have any real regrets. And right. A lot of men, they don't look at their life like that. They look at their life because they've been told that women are the prize, women are pedestals, blah, 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 and all the other stuff. And that's not true. Right. Focus on your purpose, which is your table, and have people at your table that are worthy to sit there. And a lot of men need to start internalizing that so that they can pull or attract the woman that they really need in their life. Now, are there good women in the States? Yes, but they're far and few between.
Right.
Yeah, and like you said, time is of essence. Do I really want to go through and continue having my table, picking up, going from city to city, taking this show on the road to try to find something? For some people, it may be worth it. For others, it may not be. But I think the big thing is for men to understand that you have to decide what your table is. Whether it's going to be a foldable table that you can pick up and go, or it's going to be a long dinner table with 8 to 10 people that are able to sit there at the table and decide who is deserving to sit at that table and work on that table. And to understand that some of these people out here on YouTube are not doing anything to help you build your table. Yes. They're trying to build their table.
Right.
Their table only has 3 legs on it and they can't even stand up straight. So, I mean, it is.
Not only build their table, but take away from your table.
Right, exactly.
They're trying to take away from your table.
Yeah.
Brother Ty, and Guapo's come on in a few minutes, but before we end, Ty, why was this show so essential to you, man? Why was it essential?
Yes, so it's extremely important for the younger men who watch the show to understand that, you know, you as a man have to build your table first before you add anyone to it, right? Similar to what Gigi was mentioning, like, you know, the man is the one that builds the house. He puts the walls up, he puts a structure. The woman is the one who comes in with the couch. She paints the walls, she decorates the stuff, but she can't come with a couch and decoration unless there's a house. You know what I mean? And even when she come with her couch and decoration, you have to have some guidance in that. You can't you mess around being inside a house and everything is all pink and purple and things like that. Like, how did this happen? You end up in a world, and this is what happened with men. They get into these situations with women, and when they make that woman their prize, they try to do everything to make her happy. Next thing you know, you wearing matching outfits and all this stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, you lost yourself, brother. You lost yourself. Before you met her, before you knew her name, you had a direction in your life. Do not allow her to direct you in life. She doesn't know what she wants. Women don't know what they want inherently. All right, that's a gift that they have, but it's for us is a negative. If a man doesn't know what he wants, it's a negative. But when she doesn't know what she wants, it's a positive, because it is that variety in life that makes women give us that variety in life. If she come into your life and you act and you doing what she wants you to do, you're gonna like a man who don't know what he wants.
Right.
What do you want? Where do you want to eat? I don't know. I don't know where I want to go. That's the nature of women, right? So you as a man, the young men who are watching this, you want to make sure that you're building your table, and then you start adding to that table slowly, very slowly. And someone said, Gigi said, you have that. If you're a young man, you don't have a table, do not get into a committed relationship. Do not, make sure you're keeping that bag on. Make sure you don't do any of those things. Nothing committed, none of that stuff until you got yourself together. And if that woman is holding you back, you can't get on your mission, she has to go.
We got where velvet meets the road. Salute, peace, and salutation. I always get it wrong. Salute.
You got a kosher clinician. You got it. Salute.
I'm gonna get it right. Salute and salutations, brother El Guapo. You're about to marry your beautiful Labea, and so we have these shows because we do care about the women in our lives, but many have cognitive dissonance as it relates to what men want in relationships. Now, listen, the show is entitled "The Table is the Kingdom," and what she brings to that table adds to the kingdom of man. Now, I tell women all the time that submission is a duality. He submits to love her, protect her, die for her, and provide for her. That's his submission. But she submits to his authority, his provision, protection, and maintenance, and becomes what's called a symbiotic relationship. You got a beautiful Colombian woman that is willing to bring assets to your table. Tell the audience why that's important, and tell the audience why that's been so refreshing to your psyche as a man.
Wow, you just dropped bars on me, kosher clinician. That whew, I wasn't ready. I apologize.
Well, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. So
yeah, I know, right? I know. So here's what it boils down to. When you've had the opportunity to get out here and experience life and experience a lot of the things that are going on when it comes to other women and stuff like that, you start to realize what's important.
Right.
The WAP, the fake bodies, the pseudo Instagram profiles and all that stuff becomes not just secondary, but tertiary to the things that are really important when it comes to maintaining a relationship. And the one thing that Labea gives me more than anything else is, drum roll please, cooperation. Mm-hmm. She is 110% committed to being a part of my program versus pumping her own agenda. Okay. And I tell her all the time, baby, if you take care of the $100 stuff, I got the $1,000 and $10,000 stuff taken care of. I got it handled. Right, you know what I mean? So, right. And this was not an easy chasm for me to span psychologically. And here's why. Having been divorced twice, having gone through a custody battle before, men get jaded just like women do.
Right.
But a man that has experienced the world in a way that I have, and I apologize because I'm a little bit late to the party. I was dealing with some stuff with her, and I released a new video myself.
You're
I'm
fine,
sorry.
brother. You're fine. You're fine.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I apologize. I'm hoping I'm not backtracking over anything you already talked about.
No. You're doing fine.
But with the madness that's going on in these YouTube streets over the last week, and I see it in your title and your thumbnail, you can tell those people that are not fully experienced in the world and this life versus those that are. Okay. We've seen the lead attorney address this. You are addressing it.
Right.
O'Shea addressed it. I have had the privilege of addressing it a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's something to be said about wisdom. Okay. And I'm a firm believer, and gentlemen, please don't take this the wrong way. If you are sub 40 years old, but wisdom is hard to come by until you turn 40.
Yes, sir. Right.
It's hard to come by, guys. So to properly discern what it is you actually need in a woman, it is difficult. And this is why I pump mentorship so much. Kosher Clinician, I thank you so much for getting out here and talking about a lot of the things that we as Black men don't discuss on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So yeah, and these are things that we need to be cognizant of in order to properly. I feel so bad I'm in a t-shirt. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're fine, brother. You're
okay.
fine. You're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, we gotta get out there, and I'm gonna tell you something. Finding a feminine amplifier is dope, man. It's dope.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question a little bit. Does that help?
It definitely helps. And listen, guys, go check out. I think Mr. Jesus doesn't have a channel, but go check out El Guapo on Beautiful Lives. That's my brother. Him and I were actually down in Brazil together, on the sunny sands of Copacabana Beach with Deacon Eric Spencer. I met him. It was weird. I couldn't believe it, man. He's a tall dude. I'm 6'5", but he's 6'2". I'm a T-Rex. He's a little T-Rex, but we were on the beaches of Copacabana, man, and I couldn't believe it. I said, man, that's my man, the Guapo, where velvet meets the road. And, man, I'm so happy for this brother. Go check out his channel, Beautiful Lives. Go check it out. He's a great brother. But I was so happy to see El Guapo and him being happy. And Guapo, you talked about it on past shows that we've done, on past collaborations that we've done. How did this new woman inspire you, man? How is she getting you to that apex? How has she lowered your blood pressure? Because, Al Grease talked about it. Eric has talked about it myself. But how is this woman lowering your blood pressure, man, compared to the women that you dated before in the past?
Yeah, so that is a great question. A lot of women want you to be able to deal with, manage, maintain, and guide them through their stuff. It is a seldom thing that we come across a woman that actually is one that is going to take stuff off of your plate to be a helpmeet. So Labea has been in Colombia. She's dealing with some visa stuff for about 3 weeks. And I'll tell you what, it has become abundantly clear to me how much I miss having her in this house to help me with something, even as something as small as, hey, Guapo, do you have your water while you're live streaming or something like that? I got to do that myself now. What am I doing? But to the point, and fellas, you'll find this, and I'm going to tell you something. There's this huge debate about. I don't want to be incendiary on your channel, Kosher Clinician, but there's a huge debate about paying and can I say the word tricking? Can I say that?
Yeah, yes, sir. You're fine. Go
Okay. And tricking and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, Labea makes more money than 85% of all men, Black, white, Asian, Latino men in the United States. But she is more valuable to me at home, taking care of this house and taking care of me, than the salary that she gets going into a job. So thank God I've been positioned to the point that I can actually, put her in a position where she's not going to have to work and stuff like that. But the work has been done on her end. The work has been done all of the prerequisites have been filled for her to be that feminine amplifier, to take care of this home, to encourage me. She's doing it from thousands of miles away. Gail just put in there, yeah, she sent me a really nice gift. I didn't even expect it. I almost didn't open it because I didn't realize it was for me, you know, from that far away. Every video that I've done over the last 2 days, she sat there. She's been one of the first people to view it, drop a comment, a like. She has her whole family, even though they're native Spanish speakers, jumping in the comments, saying what they can say, you know, and dropping likes, man. And so when you support a man's vision for your provision,
I like that.
You're winning as a lady. So
you're winning, right?
That's what I got, man.
Well, you know, it's sad, man, because I think some of our women mean well, but they actually have been misguided. And you know, what many don't understand is that most men just want a cheerleader. You know, most men want the American cheerleader. They can hold him down. But we live in such a selfish, solipsistic culture where a lot of times our women have been sidetracked by liberal dogmas that more or less have beset them to the point that they're losing out on decent men. And, you know, when you think about Myron Gaines at Guapo, and when you think about some of these dating coaches that are telling men to deal with American women, do you think it's viable for American men in general to deal with not all, but many of the women in this country? We know there are a few good sisters out there just trying, because those women, a lot of times, that are actually trying to do the right thing, they get silenced by the toxic women. But do you think it's worth the investment to marry women in this country at Guapo? Overall,
I have to say no. And I hate that I have to say no. I think that it's worthwhile to do the digging for any woman that is going to be the right fit for you, that is going to be congruent to what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. But at the same time, I've married 2 American women before.
Right.
And I don't have negative things to say about them. You know, if I was a better man in that instance, and people say I'm simping when I say this, but it's cool. You know, if I was a better man in that instance, I think I could have guided them better. Of course, they did some things that could have been done better, but why do it the difficult way? There's just been this whole thing. If you guys watched Kevin Samuels on Thursday, and he talked about this pay thing, right? Why are you going about it the hard way? So is it more, I don't want to say the word easy, but I want to say simple. Is it simpler to go and find somebody of a different culture overseas? Yeah, it is. It is. I did it. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say yes, you know. So, but what we're all trying to do here, and we say this a lot, you know, is that when you know better, you can do better. And so we're putting the information out, and we have women that are even in small fashion listening to our content.
Right.
And we're not Jesus. We can't save everybody, right?
Right.
But at the same time, here's what we can do. We can affect change to the point that we can encourage a tipping point. Tipping point is 10%. That's it. So if we can help 10% of these ladies, everybody, gentlemen that are sitting here right now, understand our American women, because here's what I'll never do. I hate using the word never. Here's what I cannot ever imagining myself do is abandoning the African American woman. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But y'all be messing up, ladies. So the 10% of you that want to get it right. And here's the beautiful thing is that it's very easy to stand out in the society today. It's very easy to become a wife and show that, you know, you are above the rest. And wives get snatched up like that. They really do.
Right.
Any culture.
And you know, and that's the paradox, because I think a lot of women, when they hear us say this, they presume that to the men, like I've been married for over 25 years, they presume that men don't want American women. It's not that they don't want them. They just feel like the men don't meet their standards. when you go back, El Guapo, and you think about your women your wives that were Southern belles, they were Southern traditional women. You even said, El Guapo, that they don't even compare to women from foreign countries. Why is that? Are foreign women more wife ready than American women, in your opinion?
Yeah, man. So getting with LaBea versus my second wife, who is a Georgia peach, she's still around, is a Georgia peach, is my Georgia peach was a cut above 90% of American women.
Right.
LaBea, hold up, let me get my hand up here. There you go. LaBea is like up here. Let me tell you, I just got back from Colombia, right? The way that they cater to the men in that country is something I've never seen. And I've been traveling to and doing business in Latin America for a decade and a half. One thing I will say about the Colombians over the Brazilians is that they are probably the most family-oriented Latin culture I've ever seen.
Okay, wow.
Okay. The Colombians have that in spades. And yeah, my soon-to-be father-in-law and my soon-to-be brothers-in-law are definitely served first, catered to first. There is a word in Spanish, siga, which my soon-to-be father-in-law would say for all of the people at the table and in the house to actually start eating. When I was in Colombia, LaBea would actually sit down and wait for me to say this word siga to her before she started eating. It's a cut above, bro. Like it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Right.
It's not what we're used to.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that's not what we deserve.
Right. No, I totally. The socialization for men in America. I had a client, but not a client, but I had the client's father was just telling me after the session, about how he provided for his wife for years. He protected her. He gave her everything that she needed. But there were times he didn't even get sex. For years, he didn't get sex. But on top of that, he didn't get cooperation either. He paid for everything. And I just shook my head, man. That's a term that I created called the commodification of subjugation as it relates to solipsism. He's just a commodity to be subjugated to her fickle nature. And, that can cause some traumatic issues for a lot of men, because men need women that can calibrate that psychosomatic response as it relates to the things that they're struggling with. A feminine woman can calibrate the mind of a man. Many men have something called conversion disorders due to trauma. They convert that pain. The trauma is converted into something else from the pain. That's what a conversion disorder is. It's a somatic form disorder. And so a lot of times men, because they don't have that soft touch, because there's science behind touch, there's science behind vibrations. And when you get a soft feminine woman that loves her man, she's cooking him a hot meal, and she's telling him, baby, I got you. Man, that man can be a superhero. I mean, he will kill the dragon. He'll fight wars. And I think that's
right.
why so many men were productive at Guapo, Ty, Mr. Gigi, and Eric years ago, because like Teddy Pendergrass said, she inspired me. And so it would be remiss on my behalf to tell men to continue to suffer in silence. That would be unethical on my behalf. And that's why I say it's important. That's why I wanted to bring you on, because what you were saying resonated about some of the discussions that we have. And that's why I say it's so important for men to go where they are celebrated instead of being tolerated as it relates to a commodity. Real quick before we leave, with Myron Gaines, Fresh and Fit, survived this. Fresh and Fit actually came on the show. I don't know if it was a troll or the real Fresh and Fit, but they came on the show. So, I say it was a UFO, unidentified flying object. But
Are you asking me?
Right. Do you think Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit is going to survive this in your opinion?
So they call Kevin Samuels the godfather of the Black manosphere, but the truth is O'Shea Duke Jackson is the Don of this. He really is. And not just the Black manosphere, but the manosphere in general. I will put him up against Rollo Tomasi, Richard Cooper, any of the white manosphere content creators. O'Shea is it. And the way that O'Shea lambasted these guys this morning and literally said, O'Shea ruined my entire day, bro. I was supposed to go out, get a haircut. My hair's messed up. I was supposed to do all that, but he dropped that video this morning. I was like, man, I got to break that down. I'm not shamelessly promoting my channel, but you're bringing up something I talked about. If he says that nobody in the manosphere should even consider working with them, and you don't want me to show my receipts, will they survive? Not at the level that they thought they would. They're losing what, a couple thousand, 2,000-3,000 subscribers a day at this point. I don't think that they are. Here's what I don't like, and I talked about this today, is I don't like con men. I really don't. People that build up your confidence to the point that they trust you and then you betray that trust. I don't like con men. I don't. And it's become abundantly clear to me that that's what they're doing. And they're bullying pregnant women. Come on, man. I don't. So should they survive, or should it be Darwinism, survival of the fittest? Are they truly fit? They call themselves Fresh and Fit. I don't know if they are truly fit. I don't think they're going to make it, man. I really don't. I think they might go the way of D. Jackson. I don't know.
Well, he's still alive and kicking. They might not have the notoriety because, you know, it's almost like a wave. The ones that are loyal tend to stay loyal, but it's the ones that came on the back end that tend to dissipate. But anyway, it's been an interesting conversation. Go support my man at Guapo. That's my brother. And guys, this has been a phenomenal show. I've really enjoyed. Always great to hear from Deacon Eric Spencer. And guys, I want you guys to understand that there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. 2 of them are female psychology and male mental health. When a man can understand all of those idioms or all of those virtues and principles, his psyche becomes calibrated. And so, like I said, this has been an awesome show. You know, Eric said 2 hours, but, you know, anytime Leos and Scorpio start talking, you know, we have a psychic connection. So, you know, Eric can't help himself, man. But and we got an Aries in the house, too, with Guapo. He got that Aries fire. But, guys, once again, we almost in the promised land, almost away from 17 from 1,000. And like I said, guys, you like what we're doing, please support the show. And please go support, I don't know what he said. Please go support my man at Guapo. Hold on, I didn't see that either. Gail, like I was thinking, okay, I don't know. How the fit goes knock it up. Yeah, he went knocking up an OnlyFans chick. That's a lazy thing. Check out the whole show. But please like the channel. Wow. Go share it. Yeah, that was a lazy. So it's hitting him like Scud missiles in the Navy or the Marines, man, unfortunately, man. But once again, salute and salutations. And you know, as I always tell my man Todd Main the Cutler, you know, he always laughing at me. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher.
And if it ain't kosher,
it ain't right.
Right.
On that note,
it ain't right.
Signing off.
4 in the morning, you got me up all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, let's kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say